Good morning, everybody, here at Scotch Oakburn Park here in Launceston. Cameron Blake, welcome to Duff TV.
Thanks, Peachy. Really looking forward to today, and I'm glad that we can be bringing this vision obviously back to our Hutchins community that couldn't make the trip today.
Let's hope they enjoy the game. First game for the year, Cameron. Last year you lost the grand final to Scotch. This is their first game after they had a forfeit last week against GYC. What are you expecting? Got a lot of returning players, a lot of experience. What are your expectations today?
Oh, look, I think Scotch is always a tough game. We obviously come up and lost that last year, and obviously we beat them to host the final, and they got revenge, and obviously won the final after losing the last couple to St Pat's. So our boys certainly revenge, and that's all. You can put that in the discussion, but it's a new group. We've got probably 8 or 9 that have returned from last year's final. So today's about our brand and our opportunity to show that we're professional, driven, and relentless.
What's your brand? I mean, you talked a little bit about stoppages and having good style of football and running them off the feet, but what is the brand of Hutchins?
Yeah, well, just exactly that. Just relentless at the contest. Driven in how we prepare, and professional in how we go about it. So, right. Really looking forward to the contest today, and it'll be an exciting brand of footy.
Well, best of luck today. I hope it goes really well.
Thanks, mate.
And welcome. Good afternoon here at Scotch Oakburn Park in the eastern suburbs of Launceston, the northern capital. And here is the first moments of this big match. The two champions from last year, 2018, battling out in both teams' first game of the year. And an early foray forward is at the hands of Zach Morris. So these two teams played last year's grand final. There's a lot of returning players for both teams. And it is, for both, their first game of the season. Hutchins, this is round 1 for them. For Scotch, they had a win technically as GYC forfeit their first game in the SATIS competition. So moments in, first kick on goal. And it looks like it's just drifted. The umpire looks very casual, got a fantastic cap on there. And the first score on the board for the home team. Beautiful day here in Launceston. Around about 16 degrees. A little bit of rain a couple of days ago. A little bit of mud just in the middle of the ground. And Scotch with all the play early. That's a good hit up to half forward. Finds Kenny. He'll go into his left. Kick it to around about 15 metres out from goal. There's 2 Hutchins players coming through from the left. They managed to spoil. He's at a high tackle. The umpire was in an excellent position. And he gets an early blow of the whistle. So Hutchins will relieve. And they'll do what Cameron Blade asked them at the start of the game, is to move the ball laterally and ensure they maintain possession. And that's what they've done for these first 2 kicks. Just off half back here come Hutchins. The kick just a little wayward. And chopping up is McShane. So McShane here, just attacking side off centre wing. We hear the Duffettes, and I think that might be a 50-metre penalty now. The player on the mark took about a half a step forward. The umpire was standing there, and it is a rule that came in around 10 years ago. And unfortunately, now and again, you see players overstep. So it will be a second opportunity here for Scotch to have another shot on goal. So Morris with the ball in his hands. A little further out than the last kick. Let's see what he can do. I should say it's actually McShane. McShane's kick. Unfortunately, it's gone in the same direction to the left and a minus score. So Scotch with all the play early. It's got a free kick downfield here. So Scotch endeavouring to try and get it past halfway for the first time. Juggling mark, not quite taken. A tackle from high. Looked like a push in the back from McShane. He has given away a free kick. It's a sloppy play from him. Decides to handle. Kicking up to half forward and just tracking back his eyes, and he takes a comfortable defensive mark. So it's been a little indirected at the moment from Scotch, that kick, And the tackle laid, and Birchmore taken over the boundary line. Those two gentlemen just getting a little bit close to each other. So first stoppage opportunity past the halfway mark here for Hutchins. It's a throw-in that probably just dropped a few metres short than what they expected. Just knocked out a hand of Reeves. Now a contested situation with quite a few players around that ball. So many returning players from both teams, and quite a few of these boys also playing senior football. As we see a ball up, going over the back of the pack there was O'Toole. Just running near, that's McShane. Joey Harrison for Hutchins, trying to get the football. Another push in the back. So Thomas Reeves now. Probably too far out to score. And you can hear the whistles in our effects mic. The kick, you can just see there's a little bit of breeze that's going to left-hand right of the screen, and that is gone through for a minor score. So the Duffettes coming up the Midlands Highway today. Aaron Roberts in the commentary position. Martin Duffy on top of the van here. G'day, Martin.
Yeah, g'day. Great to be here. Beautiful oval, wonderful setting.
Yeah, it certainly is a magnificent oval. There's a tiny bit of mud just on the cricket pitch, and a nice mark taken by Cox. Cox's move is good, and he finds Lewis. Lewis's kick is an excellent weighted kick. And just early, Martin, Scotch look a little bit more composed.
They do. They do look more composed. Well, they've got the... What's the score there, Aaron?
Well, it's 2-1. Alex Davies with the ball just outside the attacking 50 here for Scotch Oakburn College.
No goals yet.
And that's a very good hit-up kick to Liam Canny. So
looking good going forward.
And the two coaches have got a good narrative as well. Cameron Blight had experience, started at Devonport back in the Andy Goodwin days, and Andrew McLean had a lot of time at North Launceston, got drafted to St Kilda. So both these players experienced at good standard of football, and a nice rivalry between the two best footballing colleges in Tasmania. And there is the first goal on the ball. The Scotch get the first, and their players coming around, and they are very excited about that early goal. So it was good decision-making down half-back. And Canny here we see on the replay. And so we've got some friends that brought the Duffettes up the highway today, Mood Food. And Jackson Motor Company supporting the coverage, and also thanks to Cameron Blight. And also, I know Jason Berry there at Hutchins and others at Hutchins to get us along. And also thanks to Scotch Oakburn for allowing us to come and cover the game today.
What else would you be doing on a Saturday?
Well, I don't see where you'd want to be. I mean, it is a beautiful little ground. Perfect size, I reckon, for this standard of football too. And early on, it is a very neat standard. And McShane involved again for Scotch. He gets hacked forward. Kick is a little wobbly out of defence. It might not go far. Look out for Bales. He misses the football. Contest on half forward here. Going to his knees was Davies. Tackle late. Is that a throw? Didn't take possession. The ball did come loose in the tackle, but unfortunately Will Cooper in his second year, but that kick is being turned over. So just a few turnovers as Mac Evans now. A very good young footballer, Mac Evans, playing for North Hobart. And if he puts a little bit of weight on, he's got the height and athleticism, and a long kick up to half forward, but just needed to be involved in the contest more. And Alex Davies in a better position than on Will Cooper.
You can feel the passion, can't you, Aaron, of the boys playing for the jumper, playing for the school?
Yeah, and I've got a few mates that have played different style of footy, and they believe that their time playing for their school, particularly in the SATIS competition, was their most enjoyable time of playing football. And there was a lot of cheering on before these teams came on, but here's an opportunity for Hutchins. It just goes on left, and maybe tackle laid then and Jury. And that, it's gone through. Well, it's fortuitous in the end, but that's all you need, because they got the ball further forward. It went over the back of the pack, and Unjuri kicked the first for Hutchins. So one apiece here in the early stages of this big clash here at Scotch Oakburn.
Oh, he's like an architect down there at full forward, isn't he, young Drury? He's better known for his cricket these days, playing first-grade cricket with North Hobart, as you'd know, Aaron.
I thought it came off his knee, to be honest, when I first saw the replay. Can we get another replay on that? The umpire would not have probably had a great view to see this.
It was very laid back, the umpire,
look,
wasn't he?
I couldn't quite tell, to be completely fair, so we'll give the benefit of the doubt there to the umpire.
What do you think of the umpire's style? Just, you know, their hands.
Well, I do imagine that they're probably relay, they're a parent or maybe a teacher, so they're not really obviously the umpires are running around in the middle doing that work. Umpires that are trained up, but I don't think the goal umpires may not be trained. That's a magnificent kick. Was there hands in the back? I think there was, as Will O'Toole just got his hand slightly into the back of Tilly. Tilly quickly moves the ball on to a one-on-one contest. Slipping over at the wrong moment was Drury. Still an opportunity. Drury's going to get back again, but was there a high tackle? Maybe play on.
Surely a throw there.
We'll just see here on the replay.
The umpire's given it.
Well, was the high tackle? Yeah. So the high tackle was first, Martin Duffy, and then the throw occurred. So that means it has to be a goal. So great umpiring, and Drury has 2 here in around 45 seconds. And on the replay, you see the high tackle there and then the throw. So what occurs first is what's paid. And Lewis Drury in the right spot at the right time, as you need to be as a good forward.
Well, we know Lewis is an absolute gun junior footballer, watching him play with Clarence and early on in Sandy Bay. And I think it might be right, but I think he's chosen cricket the last few years.
Yeah, he's not playing senior footy anymore, I don't believe.
No, it's one of those difficult decisions the young fella has to make, but wouldn't he be relishing playing for the jumper here in possibly his last year of competitive football?
It is a very competitive game. Cruising on that one, a bit of a smother. Now it's just back in that little bit of bog just inside. There was a little hold off the ball here, so the umpires are red hot at the moment, are making some good decisions early on, are picking out everything, so players have to adjust. As now the umpire blows another whistle. That should be downfield. This should be downfield. I don't think the players are overly sure, but we'll just see a replay here, the first contest. So there was the first knock. And a player in the zone here. Yeah, he just played on. So unfortunately, another opportunity here from a free kick. And the shot on goal is going to be taken by Sam Gray. Nice looking kicking action from Sam Gray, and he has dobbed one for the Scotchies. And 2 apiece here, and a very entertaining start here for both these teams' first game of the season.
Well, fair enough to say both teams are up and about, especially with Hutchins and those couple of goals, steadied the ship for them.
But at the moment, though, they do need a steady bit, Hutchins, because Scotch have got a better system, better structure. They've got more control at stoppages. I did listen to Cameron Blight, the coach of Hutchins. Brief chat. There's Andrew McLean, the coach of Scotch and a teacher here. But the conversation with Blighty was, we've got to win the stoppages, and the way we do that was make really good decisions in the back half. We get the ball out the back, share it. We don't just kick quickly out into no man land. And in the forward line, when there's a contest in there, the mids need to come forward and put pressure on and ensure that the ball doesn't get out. Keep it in there, which they've done for their 2 goals. And it's Tom McShane who's had a bunch of the football early. He's kicked a Spinks. Spinks misses it. He could get another opportunity there, Spinks. He did maybe lay a slight tackle then on Reed. Now the clearing kick. First onto that ball was Fair. Now Fair's pushed in the back. In fact, the umpire's called that hold in the football. Probably a 50-50 decision. But certainly the umpire's in a good spot here to tell if that was a turn in the... Just turn him. Brilliant decision by the umpire. You could just see him turn him at the last minute. So technically, spot on. Good contest in the middle. Risky kick. A lot of the players are going for that shorter kick upside inside the 40. I should say inside that 40 rectangular in the middle of the ground. Storming through was Zeman. Cooper trying to get his hand on it. Now Cooper just kicks it into a little bit of space. No one particularly there. One of the team players was George McShane for Hutchins. Just tapping the ball along the ground is William Birchmore. Now quick snap into the pocket. This will probably roll up towards those autumnal colours here at Scotch Oakburn, and out of bounds around 25 metres out from the Hutchins goal. So there is a lot of spirit and a lot of talk before this game in SATIS football or SATIS sport. There's obviously, SATIS. In the SATIS sport, there are a lot of other competitions. But I think traditionally over a long period of time, it's the winter sports that have or garner the greatest respect, and this is certainly the biggest competition at the moment, the AFL, the boys AFL and the girls AFL, and a good mark taken as Jack Tilley was able to read the drop of that ball a little better and has taken the mark for Hutchins around 45 metres out directly in front. Now,
we saw Jack last year kick an absolute blinder of a go, Aaron. You weren't there. I think Tubes was on the mic that day. And wasn't his mum and dad right next to us? Oh, they were cock-a-hoot, I can tell you.
Did they celebrate?
Oh, celebrate. They're still talking about it.
Well, let's see. Jack's kick on goal. It looks tracking straight over the cap of the umpire, especially very casually signals a goal. And there is the third for Hutchins. It's a nice kick. We'll see that one on the Mood Food replay.
It's all set, this match, isn't it?
It is a high-scoring affair, and I'm going to tell you why in a second. But let's maybe just see the replay first. We've got G-Funk on the pots and pans here. Jared doing the work on the replays. We'll see that replay in a second of that goal, but a nice goal. So 3-2. Hutchins with the early lead, but this game is extremely even. As the players shielding their son from the late autumn sun here in the eastern suburbs of Launceston. A little nutmeg then through the legs of McShane of the George variety for Hutchins. And another free kick in the middle of the ground here. There's Tom McShane. Goes up to half forward. His kick is just a fraction long. Henry Luder's had it for Hutchins. He loses the football. Goes through Sam Gray's hands. And the umpire's picked out another free kick. Playing on quickly is Luders. Has a bounce through the middle. Kicks it to around 35. It's a good kick. Not a bad contest. Popped out the side was Prescott. It should be another goal. If this can be picked up by Cooper, and Cooper kicks it.
Oh, forget the play and how good the game's going. This goal umpire down here is... He's Mr. Casual. He's fantastic. This is what we want to see in Aussie rules as well as a good spectacle.
Well, we don't need the over-dramatic, the drama that goal umpires create at times with a goal. And we'll just see here the chain of handballs. It was dropped by Cooper initially, but he had managed to have a nice bounce and a very deliberate shot. He's got his arms crossed. Anyway, we'll focus more on the football as the game goes on.
I'm finding it hard to focus on the football. I've never seen a man be so casual, but hey, what a top stand of the footy we've got out here.
Yeah, 4 goals to Hutchins now. They've got a roll going here. They've got a couple of goal lead. We'll get that score correct in a moment. 4 goals, 1 to them, 25.
Inside 50s at the moment, 7 to Hutchins, 5 to Scotch.
Tell you what though, Scotch are winning the middle of the ground, although that's the first real victory for Hutchins. It gets out to centre half. Storming out again is Tilley. Tight left foot, wasn't a lot of space. It still might go. Rolling. I think I have a feeling for a second. I thought Max Denchi put his hand and finger on it, but he didn't. And another goal to Hutchins.
It was well left, wasn't it?
It looked like he wanted to touch it there for a second, but in the end it was a smart decision not to.
My word.
There's a good handball here.
This is unfolding into a massive first quarter. How many minutes we got played there?
So that was Nick Smart with the goal. Oh, just at the last minute he pulled his hand back. So we've gone 16 and a half here. I think it's 20-minute quarters.
I find it might be 25 at this
25.
level, so
now,
yeah.
We'll let you know, Martin Duffy and I have done junior football recently, and the quarters go super quick, don't they, Martin?
Well, there's 10-minute quarters for under 8s.
Yeah, and we did some under 12s, and they're 15-minute quarters. We've done some women's football, and they're 15-minute quarters on the dot. They don't go a second over, time.
We do live and breathe footy.
We do.
Aussie rules.
Yep, and I did a game on Tuesday in Mount Nelson, and I'm all over the place. There's a high kick goes up, and a fantastic mark.
Put that one down.
Again by Jack Tilley.
Gee, he's on fire, Tilley.
Tilley, a second-year player here, and that's a good hit-up kick. And so poor defensive work from Scotch as Hutchins are really taking this game now as Mac Denchi has an opportunity for his first 6-pointer.
Can you believe that young Jack's now turned himself to, I think, to the round ball? Yet he's pulling out marks like that. You've sort of got to maybe question that decision, because he's a very talented player.
It was a good kick, and he was certainly unopposed. He's 20 metres out. He's got a very confident run up, and he kicks the 6th goal here. 6 goals, 137. Scotch 2-2-14. And it's been 7 minutes of complete dominance from Hutchins. They've started to win the ball out of the middle on that occasion. They're certainly winning the ball up forward, and they've had several balls get out the back of the pack and to players running forward. No, so those half forwards, you see the replay here from Denchi. Comfortable goal from 25.
This is a commanding lead, Martin Duffy.
Oh. Dominating, aren't they?
Well, Andrew McLean, I don't know if he necessarily makes some changes. He may need to bring a slight change to defence, but they actually just need to get the ball forward, Scotch, because when they get it forward, they look extremely dangerous themselves in what might be a very high-scoring game. Now, the umpire's blowing the whistle. Another good decision from him. So, an opportunity now for Scotch. We'll just get that player in a moment. It's number 25. We don't have him, unfortunately, on our team list.
Neddy Spiden here on camera.
Mark's dropped by Tilly. One of his few mistakes today. But a mistake with the handball, so it's been turned over twice in about 15 seconds, trying to get front position was O'Toole. And he did a good job then, O'Toole. I think he's one of the players that will steady the ship here for Scotch. Goes out to the river side of the ground. A wonderful contested mark.
Gee, we're seeing some
Tom McShane.
Some great grabs. That's about, what, 4 or 5 really good
Look at this.
marks.
I mean, that is worth gold in any standard of football. Someone who can take a contested mark down. There's a little blow of the whistle off the ball here, so it should be a Scotch free kick.
But you know what's great about this footy? And I'll bang on about this until I'm a very old man. It's open because there's no congestion. It's a wonderful spectacle.
Morris with a shot, went short. Tackle laid by Evans. Some clever handballs out there, and they just keep possession. Managed to get the ball to half back. Hutchins looking good off half back at the moment as they're being able to maintain possession as Harrison. Two-fisted punch. Just get the ball moving towards the direction of their goals. Can it be picked up here by Denchi? Just didn't bounce for him that he needed to, and it's just been released a little while here. And just waiting under that for a long time was Liam Kenny. Great tackle. Good decision from the umpire. Another good contest. Good example of the motivation and enthusiasm of both teams here with that contest on half forward. Yeah, Martin, don't disagree. They're actually, the forwards are roughly staying within 20, 30 metres of goal. The half forwards is the most important thing. They're staying to be able to maintain this standard of style of football. Half forwards aren't going too far, but I tell you what, this contest, there's a stoppage of the mids will move into that defensive 50. Chance for Scotch. The handball looked for Kenny. Just missed him. Goes through the fingers of Gibson. Just sliding on his knees is Cox. Liam Kenny again for Scotch. It's just off half back here for Hutchins. Good kick, high up. The long arms of Theo Ives. Then goes to his knees and tries to help one of his teammates in Caleb Thompson. Now there's a tackle without the football. I'd imagine we might have a little push and shove. No, they've kept their emotions in check. It was a dangerous tackle as William Birchmore involved and just trying to calm things down here. So it is a free kick to Hutchins. It's a dangerous tackle. We heard that from the umpire. He was slung.
He said to him, just go away for a sec.
He was injured. He's lying on the ground. Maybe just lacking a little bit of compassion.
Assertive umpiring, I like it.
Good contest at half forward. Scotch with the numbers. That was a throw.
I tell you what,
I don't think he could do anything else because it was a really good tackle.
This gentleman umpire, he's been around and he knows the rules well. Doing a good job.
But he's getting in good positions too. I mean, we don't necessarily, people probably think it's good if we don't see the umpires, but we like to give them a bit of a pump up here on Duff TV because they're integral to the game. That's a good kick into the pocket. Oh, just cutting it off. I didn't think he was going to get to that, Ned Spiden. I played seen him as a junior, I think, a couple of years ago. Yeah. I don't think he's got the distance.
Playing well above his age too, Ned. Under 16 player. Playing in the 18s, real credit to him. But he's a real strong in and under sort of footballer.
Ned Spiden from 45. The kick is coming back, but not enough. And a minor score to Hutchins. They have now got a very commanding lead. It's 14, so 2-2-14 here, Scotch. And the run of play here, just see this Spider mark. He cut it off nicely and good courage from him. But Hutchins, 6 goals to 38. Alex Davies, oh, clever, neat, again. Waiting, and now that's a good kick. It was spoiled, but maybe holding on for that length of time. Now it's won back by Hutchins to Luders. Luders on to Zeman. Is always running through the middle of the ground. Now it should be picked up here by Lawrence for Scotch. And the umpire there, the boundary umpire will call that out of bounds on the full. We're gone 22, nearly 23 minutes here.
Get a left.
Massive clash.
Get a left foot, son. Don't like that. Congestion and players that can't kick on both sides.
Jack Tilley kicked a goal already. He's out of he's actually over the boundary line, so not a bad effort from Tilley. He made the distance, but unfortunately it was to the right and the near side and another minor score. So Hutchins really now dominating. They're dominating contested ball. Their decision-making's better. And they've also got just their placements and structure a little bit better. Although Scotch, I still say, they'll come back here and they don't look too bad. That's a good kick. Finds Kenny, who's been a good performer from Scotch. His left foot up to half forward. Few marks are being dropped, which is always a sign of the early start of the season. Although a lot of these guys are playing senior and development league football in the state league. Most of the guys for Hutchins are running around for the red and the blue, North Hobart. It's a wobbly kick. Might be kept in. Yes, it is. High tackle on Will Cooper. And the umpire again right there.
Gee.
No, he's actually called incorrect disposal. So I thought initially it might have been a high tackle. But
It'd be interesting to get a stat on the free kick count at the moment.
I've certainly heard the umpires whistle a lot, but I can't say there's been any stinkers so far. That's a brilliant mark. Nathan Cox going back and cops one on his scone. In fact, it's not. It's actually Harry Gee. Gee, that's a good mark. We've seen two terrific contested marks on either centre wing at the moment. And Gee just getting his head rubbed there. He might have a good knock on there as he gets it off to Tom McShane, the prime mover, if you like, for Scotch at the moment. Kicks it up to centre half. Klein had just put off his teammate, and Jack Tilley for Hutchins relieves. Tilley finds Luders at half back. Luders handballs to Will Hodgman. Just a hand on that was Prescott, and he needed to probably get his hand on that one. With a bit of pace was Moore. Darts around. Harrison, neat from Harrison. Clever decision, goes to the middle. To Zeman, and right on then, it's 25 minutes gone. And that is quarter time here in the SATIS. Kind of round one clash for both teams. Their first clash of the year. It's a replay, or the rematch of last year's SATIS grand final in senior football. Early on it was Scotch, and then it was all Hutchins as they stormed back into the lead. And at the moment, Scotch Oakburn 2 goals, 2-14 to Hutchins. 6 goals, 3, 39, and an entertaining first quarter, Martin Duffy.
Oh, really enjoyable. Early on, Scotch just looked a little bit more steady, didn't they?
Well, for me, it was Tom McShane for Scotch. Just dominated the first 5 minutes of the game. He took contested marks. He had shots on goal. He won the ball out of the middle. And it seemed to me, and apologies to the Scotch fans here, we come, well, I live in Lonnie, but we come from the south generally and do our footy down there. We don't know some of the Scotch players, but he was the best player on the ground for probably 7 or 8 minutes. But once the tide turned, then we saw Hutchins come through, and they looked magnificent.
Really enjoyable game. Well, we might take a quick break.
Yeah, take a very quick break here, and we'll come back with some stats here to kick off the second quarter here on Duff TV of the SATIS round one clash here at Scotch Oakburn College.
Oh yeah, I've lost my voice though.
Welcome back here, second quarter about to get underway here at Scotch Oakburn Park. And the early leader Hutchins, 6 goals, 3, 39 Scotch Oakburn College, 2-2-14. Goal kickers, Lewis Drury got a couple of easy goals over the back. Max Denchey, Jack Tilley, Nick Smart and Will Cooper were single goal kickers for the Hutchins boys. And Liam Canny, Sam Gray got a couple early in the first 7 minutes. So be interested to see what Andrew McLean does here, the coach of Scotch, and if he can make some moves. But I actually think, Martin Duffy, this is the best game of footy we have seen all year. In fact, I'd say the best style and the optics of this game for me. It looks magnificent.
Everything is just right. There is no congestion. Great standard of players out there, and obviously well coached, and it's just got a great feel about it.
We maybe like the passion as well. I went to a public school, and I'm kind of was always jealous of my mates that went through the private school and got to play in these sort of games.
Well, they took it away from the public schools, and there's talk of bringing it back, and I think they should. So hopefully we'll see some action in that area.
Hutchins with some run up half back. There's a bit of a knock off the ball here. I don't think it's right. The only thing that The only skill that's letting these players down, I think generally decision-making is really good, and Tom McShane, hello there, with another great mark, is actually the marking. Their judgment of marking is a little lower than, say, but their kicking decision-making, not bad for most points. It's a hold off the football, and the umpire, as we have seen throughout this game, it's really quick to blow the whistle.
I don't quite understand your statement there. I said we've seen some great marks.
We have, sorry, but I've seen a lot of misjudged marks. That's not misjudged, Zach Morris. Yeah, I've seen a lot of balls just drop over through the fingers and be slightly misjudged by the players for uncontested marks. However, we've seen about 7 contested marks, and they've been just fantastic to watch. So anyway, Zach Morris, opportunity for Scotch. Get an early response here and get it back to 19 points. He needs to kick this goal.
Nice approach.
That's nice from Zach Morris, and Scotch had the response early, exactly what this game needed, exactly what Scotch Oakburn College required. And Zach Morris with an early response. And Martin, it was good pressure half forward, resulted in a free kick, resulted in the ball moving forward. And what we saw from Hutchins in the first quarter, an easy, uncontested mark inside, around 20 metres out.
Some good movers out there, isn't there? I mean, these boys are predominantly, what, 17 and 18 years of age, so...
Most to be 17, yeah.
Yeah, they're young men, it's fair enough to say. They play like young men at this age.
And they've got 2 really good mentors in McLean and Blight, and they're teaching them a style of football, and hopefully they're training them in a way that talks about maintaining possession, good decision-making, looking at the skills of the game and less about the technique, and also that camaraderie about playing for your school. I'm sure that spirit has been built into the narrative from both coaches. It's on half forward here from Scotch again. As we see, a check side kick. It's a good result, although difficult to mark as Cooper went down, and Cooper managed to get the handball out. Nice string of handballs. Fair into the pocket. He was under a bit of pressure when he kicked that, and it's resulted in out of bounds. You see the lovely scoreboard there, just on the left-hand side in the left forward pocket of the Hutchins end that they're kicking to in this quarter. It's a great little complex down here at Scotch Oakburn. I haven't been here for about 20 years.
Good to see young Zachy Fair there, just on camera. Had a bad leg injury last year, prevented him from playing most of the season, Aaron, so he's back up and about. And, of course, played first-grade cricket for uni, which is an amazing effort.
A few good decent cricketers here, isn't there? In the
15-year-old playing first-grade cricket is just incredible.
Ball's just kept in then by Smart, and that's allowed Scotch to go forward. Now, another example of a contested mark. It's Moore. I should say, not Moore, it's Morris again. So Zach Morris for Scotch Oakburn. 60 metres out, looking for an option. He kicks to around 35. There's only one Scotch player in front. He nearly marked it. Now it goes to ground. Scotch need to keep this ball inside their forward 50. Lay some pressure. Good from Nathan Cox. And unfortunately, the umpire's found a free kick, and it will be relieved here for Hutchins.
No advantage, he was saying. Probably rightly so, he brought it back.
So 9 returning players for Hutchins. We might just get some figures on the returning players for Scotch Oakburn. So that's returning players from last season. So this is their second season of playing for their school. Obviously, only generally have 2. The sun being shielded from the eyes there, just on half on centre wing.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the right spot to have the coaches' boxes over there.
No, I was thinking that as I came in. It's probably not ideal to be watching from that side of the ground when the sun's a little low in the sky. It's certainly not at 1:30 when the game started. That's a nice
lead.
Tell you what, Jack Tilley, he's been impressive.
For a guy who plays soccer, he is a good AFL.
We don't think he's playing senior footy. I might be wrong. If someone can text us or tweet us or whatever you need to do. Over the head. That's high in the sky. I think that's a goal. That is sensational. Well, out of nowhere, it's Lewis Drury again. And he's kicked the ball in a pack with a large amount of players around him with not a lot of time, straight over his scone, and did not have a clue where the sticks were. He must have been able to smell them, and he found them.
It was an incredible goal, wasn't it?
And Lewis Drury has 3 goals, and that's the best, Martin, isn't it?
He's got X factor.
We talked about him a little bit earlier. He kicked 2 goals early. They were both easy goals. One was from actually free kick advantage, and the other one was an easy handball running in. Oh, actually, it was a scrubby kick off the ground. But both occasions he was in, he's running in the right spot. He had his body and hips facing the goal. He knew when to make his initial momentum towards the ball. Just, those things are only taught and learnt when you're actually playing the game. As I think it's a free kick here to Scotch. So they got the early goal here in this second quarter, Scotch Oakburn, but Hutchins replied through the brilliance of Drury. Need to keep this ball inside, but once again, Hutchins running it out with far too much ease. It's into the middle of the ground. Should be picked up here by Davies. Davies has just a little bit more time, and enough from him. Now some speed. Good run on that occasion by Birchmore. To Gray. This is good, Gray again. Now, they're going to be caught up here unless that can be smooth football. It's not. Trying to pick it up was Joe Harrison. Sam Gray with the tackle. Still no team has been able to get a comfortable possession, a clearing kick. Just going to his ground there is Alex Davies. He shouldn't be awarded with a free kick. And he is. But unfortunately, oh, come on. Now, I actually think that's unfortunately the player there, number 28, Theo Eyes, took the advantage. He was tackled. He didn't seem to be given a long time to be able to release the football, which he ended up doing. The umpire's right on it. Now that's poor checking. As the Mac Evans has taken an easy mark, and I think out of all of that footy, Scotch was so disappointed they forgot about Mac Evans, and he's taken a mark 35 metres out directly in front of the goals. This will hurt Scotch. Turnover, free kick given away. They had the free kick on half-back. The plan advantage didn't work for them. 50-50 free kick went against them. Mac Evans kick on goal. It looks very good. It's excellent. It's another one. So Hutchins respond to Scotch's first goal here in the second quarter with two of their own. And they jump out to a 31-point lead. As we see in the Mood Food replay, the Bennett's Petroleum Mood Food replay, which I'm sure, Martin, you stopped on the way up to refill your body or the car?
Yes, I had a little bit to eat at Mood Food in Kempton.
Well, you were early this morning. I know it's a day trip for you.
Then looked down at the fuel gauge and I thought, well, where else do you want to get 6 cents a litre off?
And for those in the north, there's lots of Bennett's Petroleum and Mood Foods coming around, and we're mentioning them because they are actually our friends that are providing some sponsorship to Duff TV to allow the Duffettes and myself and Jared and Martin Duffy to get out in the road and Tubes Taylor.
We've got a free kick, is it? I'm not sure what it's for. Umpires are not sure.
And obviously Jackson Motor Company are other supporters here for Duff TV. Once again, thanks to Cameron Blight, a big supporter of the Duffs and the Duffettes as that goal goes wide. Now, that's a good contest. Another blow of the whistle. Now, it's a free kick to Hutchins. Was his legs taken out of the marking contest? I'm not 100% sure, but quickly plays on. It's a chip kick and it's poor again. It's Evans. Now, they've just kind of lost their way a little bit here, Scotch, and Mac Evans has another opportunity. A goal about a minute and a half ago, and he has another opportunity to get his name in the scorebook.
Yeah, interesting match, isn't it? You look at the scoreboard, 31 points. This could take it even further out. But in general play, they look, fairly even in ability.
Evans from 45. Oh, that looks good again. Mac Evans has 2 in the quarter, and his kicking skills are elite. As another blow of the whistle. I think it's another free kick to Hutchins. Right in front, there's been an indiscriminate push off the ball. There's some argument going on here. We didn't see it on general view. We're actually in a van here, in the Duffette van, so we don't actually have the game or the vision of the game. We've got the actual game on the television. We didn't see that on the left-hand side of the screen.
I didn't see what that was for.
No, Martin, you didn't see it. So it's Lewis Drury, an opportunity for his 4th goal. And I'm even unsure if he thinks it's his kick. He's going to pull his socks up here. No? What is going on?
Well, maybe that's the rule is...
No, what's happened, it's actually free kick in the middle of the ground. So apologies there. It did take a while for the umpires, the players, and us here in the commentary division to work out. It must have been just after the goal. So it means there's a little push and a shove there. This might be a free kick here. Just like Jack Tilley went in. So free kick. Good contest there. around 35 metres out. It's in the pocket. Scotch just want to get that ball relieved, but it might come back again. Brilliant mark. Wonderful diving mark. So Scotch with the ball off half-back. Another 50-metre penalty. He only just went over the mark by half a step, but the players are maybe not adjusting to that rule. Zach Morris. Geez, it was a good mark from Morris. So here's opportunity now for Morris. He's within scoring distance, I'd say. He's a great kick of the football. He got a very generous 50-metre penalty too. So Zach Morris already has a goal for Scotch. And 37 points down. Need another one. Runs to just inside 50.
Oh, beautiful.
That's neat. I think it's punched on the line. It is. It needed to be. Would maybe the I believe the 50-metre circle, or the 50-metre half circle is 50. But
look,
the player's having no difficulty at getting that distance at the moment.
Yeah, Drury having a run on the ball here.
The Drury on a half back hasn't been there today, and Hutchins deep, just inside the defensive 50 here. They're going to try and chip it out. This is what Blighty likes. He finds Tilly, who's also moved further up. So just moving some of his more important players just around here to see what they're capable of doing playing in different positions. They're going to be going up the line now with this kick to a big contest. Scotch with the numbers. Unfortunately, another mark dropped. Nearly picked up there by Fair. Tackle laid by Bales for Scotch, and the umpire will come and relieve it. It's a really entertaining game here.
Love it.
But Scotch need to get a score and a couple to get themselves back into the game on the Jackson Motor Company scoreboard. But we do feel that they're certainly winning plenty of ball around the contest. But going back just to when you're behind and things aren't going quite as well, they've just gone back to a slightly probably a style of football that McLean wouldn't like them to do, which is in the contested situation, they're literally grabbing and kicking it forward, which the old style footballers go, well, that's what you got to do. But unfortunately, it gets turned over because the half forwards and the half backs, depending which way you're going, move up, and they can cut that ball off. It gets turned over. A lot of scores kicked. You need to finesse the football, get a handball off to a player in a better position to make a better decision who has more time. They're not doing it at the moment, Scotch. And there's a high tackle. And so Scotch will leave. Now that's a good kick because it gets a bit of lateral movement here. It's marked by Alex Davies. He handballs the ball off. Lewis. Gee, that's a good kick from Lewis. But when I say it was a good kick, it looked like it was going to float up, but unfortunately, Will Hodgman plucks it out. The kick around the back finds Drury, showing his class with 3 goals, 1 over his head, and now running off half back, and looters for Hutchins. With a 2-handed drop, there's several players in the middle of the ground here for Hutchins. As one of those is Tilly. Tilly looks for a player to support him. Now that's a poor handball. It might still work. It's a 1-on-1 contest here as 2 Hutchins players run into each other as a heavy knock on Lucky Prescott. And a little bit of emotion shown there. And that was unfortunate. Hutchins were away, and that handball just needed to be a little bit more effective.
We got 13 Axel Moore, is it?
Axel, like yeah, it is Axel, yep.
Son of the great Terry, who's no doubt listening to this. The great Tex. We've got an injury here.
Yeah, that was a fair contest here as we see when the trainer's coming out for Scotch to have a look at the player on the ground. We'll get his number in a moment. I just missed that in initial. Looked like he got hit in the back. He was down there on the left-hand side. I reckon he had a bit of wind knocked out of him, unfortunately. You see there on the left-hand side of the screen. So I think it's Alex Davies. He's just recovering from a bit of a knock. And we'll just be a few moments here until we get ourselves going again. He looks okay, though. He's just standing up now, Alex Davies, and walking it off. One of the things, he might have a bit of a bruise, but he's getting some support there from one of the trainers for Scotch Oakburn. So hopefully he's all fine. Never nice when you get a knock just in the back of and around the kidney area. It just takes a while to get the oxygen back into those lungs. There's plenty of oxygen in the lungs of the supporters here, and the Hutchins boys are on the left-hand side of us here from the van on the wing, enjoying the action. There's a little hold here. I just saw the hold there by Morris. And now it's Archer and Will Cooper involved. Will Cooper very vocal then. but just a little hold on the side there by Zach Morris. So Will Cooper with a free kick. He's turned it over, though, straight into the hands of Charlie Warren. Charlie Warren 60 metres out. His kick is equally as poor. So both teams are losing their way a little bit. Handball off to Hodgman. Deep in defence here are Hutchins. They're on the far side away from our commentary position here on Duff TV. Now he played on then, Henry Luders. Now he has to go backwards to get away from that defender. Jack Tilley. He's got a bit of space. Now here come Hutchins again as they move the ball into the forward pocket. Hands there of Lockie Prescott, who's taken a couple of good marks today. Lockie Prescott probably too far out. It's a tight pocket too. They're quite narrow. It's a narrowish ground here. As we see the umpire blowing his whistle, giving him a bit of time now to go back here. Prescott and possibly have an opportunity. Decides to go short. It was a good option, but the execution was poor. Cooper drops it. Another blow of the whistle. And the players look around to see who has that one. And it's a Scotch Oakburn free kick off half back here. Waiting a long time under that football. It might have been Birchmore, his defensive side of half back. Kicks up to a one-on-one contest. Has the ball remained in the play? There's Cameron Blight down there. It hasn't. And it's out of bounds.
Looking very dapper, young Blight, isn't he?
Yeah, he's...
I'm quite surprised he hasn't got the suit on. Remember how Ron Barassi used to do that? He started that off.
Well, he does like a polo Blighty in his career.
Yeah. No,
but no, he'd look good in a suit. Maybe a purple ruffled style shirt.
Very dapper for a gentleman who was quite rugged on the ground.
Well, he learned a lot of his footy on the coast, I think, Blighty up in Devonport. Played, as I mentioned, played with Andy Goodwin.
He had a good career.
Had some time away and then came back and played for the Devils. And then Blighty used to tell me that he was involved in the greatest ever half back line that Clarence ever had in those glory years for Clarence. There's a shot on goal. Miss. Castle and others were on the half back line then. He retired the other day, Timmy Castle.
He did.
For Clarence. Yeah. He was one of the men down there, and he reckoned, Cameron Blight reckoned, the greatest half-back 6 players in the history of Clarence Football Club.
That's a big statement.
I think there's a few lads that are complaining from the early 90s. There were some pretty decent players. We'll go back here to the modern-day players here. It's a good mark taken by William Birchmore. Jeez, he's been good today. Some good individual players for Scotch. They just need to be a bit more composed in their decision-making. A bit more energy, too, as that ball's just dropped in front of Zach Morris. Gets it again, though.
Oh, nice mark.
Lewis, I should say Lawson Archer. Just attacking sign of half forward. This is better from Scotch. Just slowing the ball up because Hutchins have enjoyed chipping the ball out and turning the ball over. Kick is maybe not the best. That should be a free kick to Scotch here. A high and a hit and a player on the ground there. So Scotch will have the free kick and an opportunity to get one back here. 18.5 gone here. As you see, a definite free kick in the right hand on the left shoulder. As the umpire having a smile there as he's telling the story then, but it's going to be Ollie Gibson who was the man who got the free kick, and let's hope that he can maybe find a player off, and he hits up. Brilliant from Gibson. And always nice to see a man with a mullet running out from half forward and grabbing the football, and that man there is Bales for Scotch, who's in a much better spot to score, around 30 metres out directly in front.
We are watching probably the 2 best teams that are going to feature in this competition this year, but the standard's very high, isn't it?
Oh, the standard's exceptional. Bales, the one-handed drop, and a 6-pointer. So a desperately needed goal for Scotch Oakburn College here as Harry Bales. And we'll just see, maybe we might get a replay. Well, in fact, it was an easy mark for Harry Bales. It was a good lead, but we'll just see his kick here. Just sort of leant down there with the left hand. One-handed drop. There's a few players that have probably had success with that over the years, but usually your hands on top of the ball, forcing it down as opposed to under the ball. But effective from Bales as he kicks a goal. And he's been playing off half-back, I think, for most of his game today. He might even be on the wing at the moment. So good result for him to move forward and get a goal. Good contest with Spinks going up. A man I think Hutchins were a bit wary of going into this game and thought he might have a big influence in the ruck contest. Trying to bust through with Spiden. Quick kick out. In fact, that's Spiden there. Good contest as Reeves runs in. Another North Hobart player. Into George McShane. His kick just goes down to the fingers of Jack Tilley. A dominant forward today so far. 20.5 minutes gone here in the second quarter as Hutchins with a commanding lead still. Is that a high tackle? I reckon he was ducking. Good to see from the umpire. Has to be holding the football then. Fantastic work from the umpire. Look, a lot of people would say that's not right, but the rules are if you sort of lean down into, I know he was going for the footy, and he leant down and stayed down, so can't be a high tackle, and then didn't dispose of it. So it is probably, for those watching, they're probably frustrated and not sure about that, but that is how the rules are interpreted as McShane.
Unless it's a fair dinkum whack around the head.
They're protecting the head, Duff, and I think if he whacked his head and didn't come in and came in with his hip, different story, but he came in with his torso and his arm. So
yeah,
great umpiring. We'll just see here the third replay. So he's gone down, he's gone in with his arms, and he hasn't gone in with any sort of malice. And a really, look at the aggressive facial expression then on William Birchmore. He's certainly a strong lad, Birchmore. Bremer, he just dropped it. A player's getting a little bit of the ball at the moment is Harrison in the middle. He looks really good when there's a contest on and enjoys that physicality of the game. Laying a tackle inside was Ben Spinks. Spider, as you mentioned, Duffy, loves just the rough and tumble of Australian rules football.
Yeah.
Will O'Toole doesn't quite get it into the hands of Ben Spinks, who's starting to get into the game, and he does need to. McShane of the Scotch variety.
Oh, nice
magnificent from him. Under pressure, he finds Hamilton Cox, and that should be a 50-metre penalty. Well, the umpire actually might just be sensible here and just say, look, no, he's giving him 50-metre penalty.
I think that's good umpiring.
Yeah, look,
know the rules. They tightened that up a few years ago.
Yeah, and look, you know, sometimes it gets a bit ticky touchwood, but I mean, they do know it as Mac Evans then.
I'm not usually impressed by the umpires, but this more elderly gentleman is quite brilliant.
Seen him before. I'm just going to get his name later, but a shot on goal here for Scotch. It's the old-fashioned wobbly pasty, and nearly marked at the back there by Zach Morris. And a behind, it's 30 points. And that's, I think, substantial lead. We aren't seeing the scoring that we saw, although Hutchins have scored. They nearly got to 9 goals, but I'll tell you what I like, Duff, in the rule change is being able to run off out of that oblong at the...
You like that?
Yeah, I like that. I know we chatted about that a few weeks ago.
I like the
game at Claremont.
I used to like the dinky kick to the...
Did you?
Yeah.
I did that once at York Park. I did a dinky kick, came off the side. I ran after it 30 metres, and then some bloke trod me and broke my wrist, and I didn't do it again.
True. This is in kick to kick at half time.
Yeah, probably. No, I didn't play for another year because of that. It was Charlie Warren and a free kick here.
Now Hutchins have got a lot of underage players here. I'm looking at Joey Harrison and young Fair playing 2 years up. Ned Spide.
They're all in
grade 10.
Year 10, aren't they?
Yeah. Former Sandy Bay players with my son Jack. These boys. I'm sure Scotch have got a couple out there as well.
Yeah, no doubt.
Some of the more talented boys that are in there on their ability.
We've just got Jason Barry giving us a thumbs up as the senior sport coordinator there at Hutchins.
Well, we might like to get Jason in.
We might actually get Jason in, yeah. He might like to spruik some of the programs going on over there at Hutchins. Now, opportunity here for Scotch. That's a good-looking kick. Just touched on the... No, it's a goal.
Jeez, he didn't hesitate, did he?
The Hutchins players are claiming that was clearly touched, but that makes a game of it, Martin Duffy.
The umpires.
Now, I think the umpire's going to just fix this one up. He's going, no, he's gone, it's a goal. We are laughing slightly, but it is serious. The players are taking it seriously. I'm sure that goal umpire's taking it seriously. I'm sure. I feel we need to go to an ad break or something.
I'm sure for the grand final they mightn't rely on.
Can we see a replay of the goal? Here we go.
I thought it dropped.
Look, we can't tell, to be honest. No. And I can tell you what, who can't tell is the goal umpire either, because he wasn't side onto the contest.
It was how many metres back?
I feel like he might have. He nearly went up for the mark then. I actually thought for a second he was going to jump third man up.
I'll tell you what, he's not fazed by just what happened.
Why should he be bothered? I don't think he should be, but it's 24 points of difference. There's McShane in the middle, and we'll just have to get that goal kicker in a moment. Apologies, but after all of that, we didn't get the goal kicker. Tackle laid.
Jerry will get the
good
goal
half
kicker.
court.
It's a great kick,
yeah,
though,
Jared's our man. When I think it's Zach Morris, yeah. Look, it certainly was his body shape. We'll give it to him anyway. And it looked like his kicking style. Well, we are laughing a little bit. We're loving the football here at Scotch Oakburn College. The first game.
Timely goal.
Yeah, it was a timely goal. And at halftime here, Scotch got one back late. It's 34-58. It's 24 points difference. So 4 kicks the difference. Just to quickly run through, Mac Evans with a couple. Lewis Drury, now he kicked one over his head in that quarter. It was exceptional. You just see the goal kickers on the screen. And those listening in their cars are travelling up or down the Midlands or somewhere else. I'm sure they might have it in Bluetooth. Zach Morris with a couple. And single goal kicks to Kenny, Gray and Bales for Scotch Oakburn. It's a fabulous game of football as these two teams, very proud schools, very proud colleges. And we're going to hear from a man who's been involved with Hutchins for a couple of years. I had a chat to him before the game here. It's Cameron Blight in an interview with me, telling us a little bit about the passion and what Hutchins football is. And we'll have a break after that here on Duff TV.
Good morning, everybody, here at Scotch Oakburn Park here in Launceston. Cameron Blake, welcome to Duff TV.
Thanks, Peachy. Really looking forward to today, and you know, I'm glad that we can be bringing this vision, obviously, back to our Hutchins community. It couldn't make the trip today.
Let's hope they enjoy the game. First game for the year, Cameron. Last year, you lost the grand final to Scotch. This is their first game after they had a forfeit last week against GYC. What are you expecting? Got a lot of returning players, a lot of experience. What are your expectations today?
Oh, look, I think, you know, Scotch is always a tough game. You know, we obviously come up and lost that last year, and obviously we you know, beat them to host the final, and they got revenge, and obviously you know, won the final after losing the last couple to St Pat's. So, you know, our boys certainly, you know, revenge, and you know, that's all. You know, you can put that in the discussion, but today's it's a new group. You know, we've got probably 8 or 9 that have returned from last year's final. So today's about our brand, and you know, our opportunity to show that we're, you know, professional, driven, and relentless.
What's your brand? I mean, you talked a little bit about stoppages and having good style of football and running them off the feet, but what is the brand of Hutchins?
Yeah, well, just exactly that, just relentless at the contest, you know, driven in how we prepare, and professional in how we go about it. So, right, you know, really looking forward to the contest today, and, you know, it'll be an exciting brand of footy.
Well, best of luck today. I hope it goes really well.
Thanks, mate.
And joining us back here on Duff TV with his SATIS massive clash between the two big sides and the two big schools in boys football. In Tasmania, there's Hutchins warming up. They've got the early lead. Scotch with 2 goals late. Definitely very much in this contest. 24 points the difference, 34-58. And we've got Martin Duffy on top of the Duffette-mobile. Aaron Roberts here in the commentary position, and Jared Martindale on the pots and pans, bringing the action of the the School Association of Tasmanian Independent Schools. It took me a while to get that out. Here live from the eastern suburbs of Launceston in the northern capital of Tasmania at Scotch Oakburn Park. Cameron Blight just walking across the field there with Spencer Reid.
Gee, he had them in there a long time, didn't he?
He did. Spencer Reid, notorious for being Tubes Taylor.
Who?
Tubes Taylor's nephew, isn't he?
Who's Tubes Taylor?
Well, Tubes Taylor will definitely be calling some games on Duff TV for SATIS.
Doesn't he commentate for another competition?
No, he also does a few quizzes too, Tubes. He's a wonderful friend of Duff TV. But he's unable to get the Source van up the Midlands and through the goat tracks to come and help out. So my dose of tones here today. And we enjoyed this game of football, and just quickly going through, Lewis Drury for Hutchins, Mac Evans were 5 goals. So half the goals coming from those 2 players. And they had good decision-making. Lewis Drury had a little bit of class. He was able to find the ball on the outside, get a couple of easy goals, kick that miraculous goal over his head. But Zach Morris up forward for Scotch, along with the best player on the ground, Tom McShane, did work Scotch back into this game late in that second quarter. And they're only 24 points down. It's not a big margin. The sun is shining at 16 degrees. And the ball is released into the stratosphere again as Bremer tries to win it on the edge of that one. Hutchins have won the ball out of the middle again. And a wonderful defensive mark taken there by Theo Ives onto his left. It's not the best kick from Ives. It should be cut off here, and it is. Spiden. He'll release and go back. And there's 2 players here for Hutchins. sloppy football from Scotch. The turnover, fair. Quickly plays onto a man slightly closer to goal, but maybe not in a better spot. And unselfish football there by Fairs, as Hutchins will have the first opportunity for a score here. And it looks like Will Cooper.
I think the ball came down from number 1 there.
Mac Evans.
Yeah.
Just a bit of glare on that one, so apologies, it was Mac Evans. So, Will Cooper, 35 metres out. Just falling short. And it's to the left as well, and behind.
Now, the goal umpires have swapped around like they do traditionally at half-time, I believe.
Well, Mr.
Casual's down the other end.
They've been a feature, haven't they?
There was some controversy late in that last quarter. I think the umpire got it right, though.
Well, either way...
What's it matter?
It's all fine, isn't it?
Yeah, what's it matter?
It's a contest here, and a ball up here as the umpire comes in and just sorts out the players. And let's see if Hutchins can try and keep this ball in. Over the back, nearly marked. Picked up by Fair. Fair, tight in the pocket. It's punched across the face of goal. Into the pocket. Evans. Another tackle laid. They need to be good here. Nearly into the hands of Ives. Oh, it's going to probably be an easy goal again. And Tilly gets the first for Hutchins, and some sloppy football from Scotch as they're unable to get the ball deep out of defence. The turnover occurred, and Jack Tilly kicked the easiest of goals. Just to start, Hutchins wanted, and a nightmare start for Andrew McLean. Ben McShane, the two coaches for Scotch. Just see there in the replays, good contest just there. Going to his knees was Caleb Thompson, but it was the handball before that. And inability to actually dispose of it efficiently, and it resulted in a turnover goal. There's the Hutchins bench. Had a chat to Jason Berry from Hutchins there, the senior sports coordinator at the college. Chat a lot about the passion of SATIS football across Tasmania, and a few new clubs, or a few new schools, I should say, coming into the comp. Great to see the Northwest Coast Catholic School Marist and St Virgil's most likely next year. And that'll hopefully lift the passion, the excitement in school football for the independent schools. Scotch, good half forward, McShane. He's class. Oh, he's unlucky, McShane. I think he may have thought he had that, but he needed to be a bit more precise. He might still get it back again. Fabulous tackle work there. And Scotch have done a good job to hold that one up here at centre half, or centre wing, in front of some very passionate supporters. We can hear them on the effects mic. They're mostly the seconds team that played early today. Nearly grabbed on his shoulder there was Reeves. Tackle laid was good, and it needed to be a strong tackle. Several players around this contest. Can Scotch get the ball forward? Gibson for Scotch. Davis. I've liked his game so far. Harry G just needed to get up, and he wasn't able to. Now it's Zach Morris. Zach Morris and Henry Luders. And the boundary line also involved, and it will be a throw up here, just outside the defensive 50 for Hutchins. So Scotch have worked the ball forward here, and when this ball's released, it might be around 55 metres out. And Sam Gray was fantastic. He got in the right position, kicks the ball high. The man there just roving was in the wrong spot. That was Archer. Center. Yeah, he was. He was on the right of the pack. Good enough, Archer, though. He goes back in, tries to win it back out. It might come back here to Gray. Gray in the contest there with Savage. Working his way back off that one. That was neat. Scott still with an opportunity. They've got enough numbers around this football to try and win it. There's one, there's two. That's holding the football.
Too high. Hutchins want it more. They want it more.
Well, no, I think that was, yeah, maybe, but Mac Evans now. He'll go onto his left, as he has done all day. Not a bad kick. Just coming outside the pack is Will Cooper. Will Cooper's kick, scrubby, along the ground.
Tilly.
And that's well, what's that a free kick for? It might be off the ball. I think it's a Scotch free kick by the movement of the players. Is it down?
A free kick against Tilly for...
Yeah, no, but he blew the whistle well before. I didn't see it, sorry. Contest needed then, and it was provided by Caleb Thompson. He then holds the ball up. Well done, Caleb Thompson. He needed to, because there was a lot of space around him, a lot of Hutchins players with the line embroidered across their chest, looking to get that football. And he was able to keep that and neutralise that one. So just out of defence here. Now, I don't actually know this rule because I've seen it in the AFL a little bit. The Scotch player stayed on the ground and the Hutchins player went up high into his hip with his right leg. Mac Evans, with not much space, was Davies. Bit of a throw in there. Mac Evans again for Hutchins. Hutchins with the numbers out the back here. And they've worked the ball well. They'll finally get a kick away. Under some pressure though, and it will result in a turnover, and Scotch had the ball back here on half back. Kick into the middle, that 45-metre kick. Needed to be two hands, and just unable to get on there, Spencer. Is that another high tackle? It's a 50-50. It's either holding the ball or high tackle. Either way, I don't think it matters. It's a 50-metre penalty. And I think that's a little bit of chirp. We'll just see on the replay. It was a really tight call here for the umpire to make. Split decision. Yeah, great call by the umpire. And he wasn't even in the best position. Definitely below the shoulder. And I think for others, it may have looked because he swung his head back. It may have looked, but it's being turned over back again. So just losing opportunities as Nick Smart off half back for Hutchins. Kicks it up towards George McShane. And it's out of bounds.
Need to start executing in front of goals, don't they?
They've been poor going forward. I mean, in the first 5 minutes, I know it was a long time ago, they looked like they could have done anything, Scotch. And it was maybe one of those things where Hutchins took a while to get the rhythm, get into the game. And they found their piece, I suppose, Hutchins. And since then, yes, they've got 6 goals, Scotch, and they've looked pretty good at times going forward. Tell you what, they've turned it over on many occasions. Let's see what they can do. That goes up to centre half forward. 2v2. Ball falls down to the ground, and once again, some poor decision making. Coming in, picking up off his ankles is Will Cooper. He's tackled. Good tackle by him. Scotch get it back, and they go into their forward 50 to around 35 metres out. Nearly a mark taken by Davies, and it's going to be given to Zach Morris.
I like this boy.
I like him a lot. Zach Morris. Listen to his name in northern Tasmania.
He's got a good build.
And he had some pressure from his teammate, Alex Davies. I can tell you, these two boys have both got a good physical shape to play football. And they've got a bit of intensity and a bit of grit about them too, but both can kick. And that's nearly the #1 key these days. So Zach Morris has got a couple, and Zach Morris has a 50-metre penalty. And I will be happily putting that one down as a goal. So they get the response here, Hutchins. There's been a lot of 50-metre penalties throughout this game.
It's against this man, the architect.
Lewis Jury, I think he's going off the ground.
It's just a little bit too much chirp there. From
It just has chirped, and I don't mind umpires. And there's a goal. I don't mind umpires pulling up.
They can swing a match. Now, if they get another one here, it's under 20 points.
They've just kept it in touch, haven't they? Those 2 late goals in the first half from Scotch. And one of those was to Morris, a long bomb from 50 metres. And now the Hutchins Brain Trust getting together. Jack Tilley may be having a lot to say in that conversation. And they'll just need to settle things down. I think the passion we love. And as I said, we chatted to Jason Berry and he talked about the passion and having those Marist College, maybe St. Aloysius in the south as well, as they start to come up through the ranks in the grade 10s. And it's great to have this passion, but I suppose there's a fine line, isn't there, Martin Duffy, when the umpire will say, well, that's a little bit too much passion. And you've got to just keep your mouth shut. They've lifted it. McShane. Clever kick from him into some space. Neat work. Wonderful pick by Spinks. Kicks to a tight contest. Over the top was Morris. It wasn't Morris on that occasion. It's Harry Lewis. Well, they're coming from everywhere, and Hutchins need to stop this at the moment. That is a brilliant mark, going high up with his left hand and dragging it down. And I tell you what, these 3 forwards for Scotch look like they could kick a bunch of goals here. And Harry Lewis directly in front, 40 metres out as this game has turned. And he kicks a sausage roll for the Scotch. And they're back. 19 points the difference here on Duff TV. First game for the season for both these teams, but they've been playing plenty of footy, I'm sure, for most. Although some, I'm sure, don't play club football. Just play for their school. And Harry Lewis on the replay there. The Mood Food replay showing the goal.
I'll give you a stat.
Got the inside 50s up there, Duff?
No, I think they've kicked the last 4 out of 5 goals.
Kicked 2 of the last quarter, and then 2 in this quarter, and Hutchins kicked 1. You're dead right, Martin Duffy. You're on the ball, Martin.
Momentum swing.
So the metrics suggest it's back. It's McShane in the middle of the ground, the most dominant footballer between these two schools. Another man who's had plenty of it. Runs a wobbly-looking kick. Hits the post. The action's lifted here at Scotch Oakburn College.
There's an F4 for you there.
Geez, I look like Ben Spinks.
Jeez. Imagine if that one went through. Tubes Taylor be on the edge of his seat.
Hey, I'm sure he's watching at home, watching his nephew, Spencer Reid. Kick's not great. Couldn't recover, that was Jack Tilley. So they've got some of their better players off half-back here. That's good kick. Will Cooper, nearly the best player for Hutchins in the last sort of 20 minutes to half an hour. Chips into the middle. Now they've got some space here. Just at centre half, there's a lot of space. Needs to be a punch here, and it is a punch. Gee, that needed to be done on that occasion. They're just finding a little bit more voice and a little bit more motivation.
Some of the bigger bodies of the Scotch, it's starting to come through here in the third quarter.
Yeah, picked up by Kenny. That's a brilliant kick from Kenny. Finds Davies. Davies always likes to kick long. To a one-on-one contest at the back of the pack. Nearly marked, should be kicked up the ground. It is! Scotch have another. And a clap from the goal umpire. I think we know who he's supporting. And most likely... That was brilliant.
Oh.
Was it Spinks again? Apologies for those viewers that are watching the game.
They're busy, these boys. Look
at this contest. Davis at the back of the pack. Might have been Warren, actually. Was that Charlie Warren? Yes, Charlie Warren, 17. So he's got the lovely floppy hair with a bit of bandage around it. Just keep it out of his eyes. And there's a scoreboard there. And I can tell you, the gentleman there operating the scoreboard has been in a bit of a hurry. 6 goals to 1. And it's now 12 points the difference. And we expected this, Martin Duffy, that this game would compact and get closer as the day went on.
Well, I made the call before. I just feel as though that the bigger bodies of Scotch is starting to pay off. I reckon Blight might need to make a move on the forward line there. We've seen it go forward a few times, but come straight back out.
They've just got a bit more strength. I know they've won this ball out of the middle of the ground, and they might even have a chance here. There's a little hold then. Bit of class needed here from Hutchins. Now, is that a knock-off after the kick?
Yeah,
it's downfield.
Joey Harrison's been decked here.
So Harrison got around one, got around the second. We'll just see on the replay. A little tug of the shirt here. Just see bump there, just as he kicked the football. That downfield. But unfortunately, though, for Cooper, the Will variety, he's got a tight pocket kick. In fact, it's not Will Cooper, it's Neo Butler. I haven't seen much of Butler today. He plays Development League for North Hobart. And he just shows a bit of class there with a very laconic check side kick. And the reply from Hutchins. Tell you what, needed, because you could hear the energy and the volume. It was all going back towards Scotch and their home ground. You feel that it's tough to get back, but Hutchins responding there with some good play from Joey Harris.
Bit of news on Neo Butler. Made his debut in the TSL State League.
He has played seniors this year, hasn't he? A couple.
Played a senior game.
At least one, I think.
Yeah.
I think more a development player, but yeah, I mean, at his age, it's a good job to be playing. And
he's got a lot of ability.
And there's a lot of Devils players, the underage, coming out of North Hobart. So let's hope they stay coming through Sandy Bay and the southern suburbs of Hobart. Let's hope that he and others stay at that club to get them back to where one of Duff TV's favourites, Craig Martin, the president of North Hobart, would love to see them. Middle of the ground where that mud is. McShane again. I reckon he's got 12 to 13 clearances today, which is just phenomenal. Brilliant handball then from Henry Luders. There was a player on the outside. It's got a bit contested here at the moment as both teams feel that they're in the contest. It's here to be won. Needed to be punched further away. Hutchins with the numbers. Just slipping over was unfortunate. Going past that was Thomas Reeves. It's going to be held up here for a moment. We're just going to need to take a breather. 15 minutes gone. 14 points the difference.
Definitely the best game we've seen all year.
18 points. Yeah, by miles. And I'm just trying to go back to the games we saw last year. Those own the North from Scotch and the North Estate probably haven't been a signet, but I did a game late in the year, Cygnet New Norfolk senior SFL game. Cygnet played in the finals. I thought that was one of the better games, of more entertaining footy. Late in the years, both teams were desperate to try and firm up. I reckon that's the next best game I've seen of style. And
yeah, you just want to see open, competitive football. That's
and there's a bit of passion and there's a lot of fairness in the game. Now, McShane doesn't have much help. Gets a handball off. Tight in the pocket. Now, he's been hit after the kick. The mark's been taken by Nathan Cox. It's going to be a free kick, and Scotch will have an opportunity to respond. A lot of knocks just off the ball, and the umpiring has been outstanding today. They have not missed a beat, and the players need to react to that. Cox. Goal.
Just continues on this match, doesn't it?
Undisciplined football results in another goal, as we see here in the Mood Food replay. Very casual kick on goal. Maybe that's the way he rolls. I like the way he just kept running at the goals after kicked it, keeping everything in a nice straight line, even though the drop wasn't 100% perfect. Had a lot of good things going about it, and he was in the right spot at the right time, because we saw a downfield free kick. I reckon there's been about 7 or 8 of those stuff, do you reckon? There's been more than half a dozen downfield free kicks, so we'll see some changes here.
Yeah, the boys just need to be disciplined, don't they? Just keep their mind fixed on the contest, play it fair, play it hard, and don't give away those silly ones.
Now, McLean's just rested Ben Spinks here. I reckon it's been a catalyst for Scotch to get them back in the game. Neat tap in, finds Spiden. Only a youngster. Well, they're all youngsters, I suppose. Spiden again. Bullocking. Just needs to improve his kicking. Oh, look, it's popped out the back here. It should be a goal to Hutchins, and it is a goal. The Max Denchi kicks his second. And we've got a blockbuster here in the eastern suburbs of Launceston.
Shootout. Well, Hutchins won't mind this, will they? You know, go to kick another goal, we'll kick one back.
I think Hutchins know that they can get the ball at the back and win. See, 2 players, you can nearly say they're cheating a little bit, but probably shouldn't have got to Max Denchi on that occasion. I think that probably should have been nullified, that ball, but it wasn't. It just snuck through and they got an easy goal. We saw Scotch early on have the momentum. Hutchins got it back and they got several easy goals, and you see the inside 50s. It is Scotch with the advantage. Hutchins then really got on the roll. They got the dominance, and then late in that second quarter, they just worked their way back into the game, and Scotch got it down back to 4 goals. But it's seesawing third quarter here. We've gone 18 minutes. It's into the Hutchins forward 50 again.
Must get 2 goals in a row.
Birchmore.
Goal for goal won't win this match.
No, you're right, Martin. Kenny for Scotch. He'll kick it off the ground. Probably not a bad option from him. Finds Alex Davies, who's moved a bit further forward. I like that because he's got a bit of class. Good tackle. And ball nullified here. We'll have a ball up. 22 points and 18 points. Get my calculations right. 59 to 77. 3 goals. Uncontested ruck contest as Sam Gray just thumps the ball. There's a hold off the football, and the umpire's indicated a free kick here to Hutchins. There's the lovely vista here from the Duffett Mobile. A lovely autumn city to be in, Launceston.
It's just a beautiful place, isn't it?
Well, I moved up here a couple of months ago, so a very nice CBD. And we're in the right pocket here, but this is a nice part of the world. Certainly nice weather up here, Martin, today.
Yeah, lovely trip up the Midlands Highway today. Slow trip.
Yeah, well, look.
The completed version is going to be wonderful for Tasmania.
Oh, look, I've done that trip about 30 times. And someone doing a trip is that man, left foot, and Hutchins get a couple in a row.
Oh, that's just a great goal, isn't it?
Thomas Reeves there with a snap. And probably a goal against the flow. They've kicked 2 goals, I feel, against the flow. And maybe Hutchins have just reefed it back in their direction. And you can see Cameron Blight, he'd love that sort of goal. Ruck contest. The Hutchins player stayed on the ground. And I don't know about you, Martin Duffy, but everyone loves a little crumbing goal and a snap and a celebration. And you can see the passion because Reeves has been in the middle of the ground at different stages. And he's got plenty of mud on his jumper.
Kicking for goal has been excellent, isn't it? 13 goals, 5 to 9, 5. Very accurate. Some good goals under pressure by both sides. Great footy.
So Scotch desperately needs something here. As we mentioned, it's been them. It's been seesawing. It's kind of been 50-50. Now Hutchins with 2 goals. Just got it back towards their way again. Good kick. Finds G. Gee now.
Oh, nice.
Tell you what, Alex Davies has taken a couple of great marks. He wants a 50-metre penalty. He just needs to probably keep his mouth guard in his mouth to prevent him from saying anything to the umpire, because he'll take it off him in a hurry. His left forward pocket. He's around 45 metres out. I think he's going to have a shot. See some eager fans just behind him. Runs to 40, tight in the pocket. See, that's not too bad. Just to the near side and behind. So 23 points the difference. It's 1 point. Amazing. It feels like it's all in Scotch, the momentum Scotch, but it's only one. The margin's only 1 point different to what we had at half time. Yeah. So not a great change to the metric. Birchmore. Good contest. Just on his knees. Will Cooper trying to pick it up and win it out. A clearing handball. Not a lot of time. But that was fortunate because Henry Luders has a bounce. Not always the best kick, Luders. Now he's been hit off the ball. And Henry Luders a bit hurt then. He's copped a decent whack there, Luders. It's continuing on here. So just undisciplined from both sides really today. There's been too many hits after players disposed the football. That's a mark. No, not called by the umpire. He might be called holding the football soon. And fortunately, he gets taken high as Lewis Drury into the forward 50 again for Hutchins. As that kick comes out for Scotch. Right in front of us in the commentary position. Should roll over the boundary line, and it does. As everyone will take a breather here with about 3 minutes left as Henry Luders is still on the ground. Has cupped a decent whack just on the side of the leg. And the runner just coming out to make sure he's okay. Or maybe I'm not sure, can he come on, must be able to come on the ground. Was he taken without the football? No, he wasn't. Davies for Scotch, kicks it high to the forward. Nice mark taken by Sam Gray. Gray kicks it out wide. It's a good looking kick from Gray. Finds Liam Kenny. Kenny into the pocket, looking for McShane. He can't get it. In fact, it's Cox. He kicked the goal only a few moments ago. He'll get it back here again, Cox. He's got a lot of energy, Cox, and unfortunately off the knee of Liam Kenny, just as he was about to dispose of the football, just in front of the scoreboard here, and a lovely old oak tree there on the left. And a boundary throw in, and they'll need to keep the ball inside here with 2 minutes to go here. And then get it back under 20, Duff. They're a chance, aren't they?
Yeah, they need one just to sneak one here before three-quarter time.
Now, there's a hold here. This is a brilliant call from the umpire because I saw it from our camera position. Definitely holding the ruck contest. They're really tough on that one. Somehow the umpire's seen through several players here. There it is there, just around him, and it's Sam Gray. Floating with the goal. Oh, brilliant defensive mark. And just calming things down. Chip into the pocket. Will Hodgman's been a bit quiet in this quarter. Hodgman's kick, well, it was a good option from Hodgman. Unfortunately, put some pressure then on Thomas Reeves. Reeves has lost it. Mac Evans. Mac Evans handled. Needed to have a shot on, I should say, not Mac Evans, I should say Zach Morris. Needed to have a shot on goal, didn't he? Maybe being unselfish, but yeah. I think at times you've just got to take a risk. If you're within 25 metres and you've got an opportunity, unfortunately, I think he's a left footer. I won't get you started. Both sides of the body. I'm not 100% sure. I think he is a left footer. That's
exactly fair.
Fair takes some climbing up high.
He's battled well today, Fair. He's come up against the bigger fella there.
Yeah, he certainly has. That's a great tackle from behind by probably the strongest man on the field, Birchmore. And you could just see grabbing his leg there in that contest. Good kick. Just need a little bit more aggressive there, Alex Davies, because he's got a good set of hands. Will Cooper. He's got some run in him, Cooper. Trying to make sure there's no one over the back here, Scotch. They need to ensure there's no goal scored. Will O'Toole just provides some pressure. Coming to support him is Harry Bales, and supporting everyone is the umpire and giving a chance to have a breather here.
Sounds like a plane going above us. I'm not sure which one. Jerry will be able to tell us.
Well, they held it off late. They've only managed to get 1 point closer.
Wow.
And at three-quarter time, 60 to 83, 23 points, but it was Scotch Oakburn's quarter as they managed to kick 6 of 7 goals in a short spurt, but then Hutchins got a couple late. There was a bit of toing and froing. There was a lot of undisciplined football with players making contact with the purse who's just disposed to the football. A couple of times players chirped back at the umpire, and that resulted in 50-metre penalties. But we have a game on with Zach Morris for Scotch and Lewis Drury with 3 for Hutchins leading the way. And we'll have a break here on Duff TV. Do not go anywhere. I hope you're enjoying the coverage of this first game for both these sides. I think technically it may be round 2 in the SATIS football comp, as Cameron Blight and Andrew McLean will come in and try and ensure their team gets the victory here in a big clash. Back to you in a moment. Last quarter action here on Duff TV, and they're the goal kickers. The multiples, Drury versus Morris. And young Max Dennehy there. We do apologise. I actually got his, I think I called him Denchi here, and that's just unfortunately, we didn't have his name in the scorebook, and I'm looking at it, and it was written down, handwritten, and unfortunately it's got a C in it, but that's no one's fault.
Yeah, we had a tweet.
Terry Moore tweet, and you know what? I looked on YouTube before seeing if someone had. I always get one name. We always have one name wrong. Either I pronounce it wrong, or we actually have it written down wrong because we get the names, and there's often changes at the last minute for us. But well, thanks to Terry Moore.
Terry Moore's a man of detail, very fine detail.
Anyway, Dennehy, Max number 30 with 2 goals.
We'll talk about his new gym later in the quarter, okay?
Is he going to be a sponsor, Duff?
Oh, well.
We can't talk about it unless he's going to be a sponsor for Duff TV. Anyway, last quarter action here. Kick into the right of screen will be Scotch. A lot of scoring down that end of the ground, although Scotch kicked a bunch of goals to the left of the screen in that third quarter, but only got within 1 point from their half-time score.
Oh, he's been good, hasn't he?
There's been a lot of good players. Tilly, good first half from him. Good contest down there.
Contest.
Fergus Lawrence wins it. He's been okay, Fergus Lawrence, a real sort of dour defender. Harry Bales kicked a goal in that second quarter. He moved forward for only a short period of time, but he's generally been down in defence.
Little Joey Harrison's been in and under for Hutchins.
He's got a bit of go about him.
Yeah.
If that colloquialism suits, as quick clearing kick by Scotch out of defence. They're down by 23 points. As a battle of the big 2 footballing schools, for boys certainly. For the independent schools in Tasmania, a very big rival coming back, Martin Duffy, St Virgil's. Now on my left is Jared, who's a St Virgil's boy. Didn't play football for them, but he knows about that. A lot of my mates alumni of St Virgil's, and they, I can tell you, are getting excited about the return of year 11 and 12 and potentially school sport. Maybe it's more about education though. We like our sport though, it helps. Theo Ives, Archer, some space for him. Kick's not bad. Sam Gray just needs to pick it up and get around Savage. Couldn't get around Savage. And there's a hamstring pull there. It's going to be a free kick though. Savage maybe just feeling the pinch at the moment of that right hamstring of his. Kicks low, ill-directed. Hutchins with a couple of numbers here. They should win the football, and they do. Clever kick, finds Will Cooper. He's been a contributor in every single quarter to date. Every time he goes into the football, his effort and grit is fantastic. There's a little push here. I reckon he slipped and he took the legs out of the opponent. And Theo Ives in defence for Scotch. Great kick from Ives. Finds Tom McShane. Tell you what, I reckon he's tired. Got a few bruises on him too because he's won a lot of the football. He's going to kick it fast. Came from behind. Turnover. Hutchins away. Kicks into the pocket just in front of Lewis Drury. Gee, that was neat by Fergus Lawrence for Scotch, but he's kicking, just letting him down.
I think it was Joey Harrison that came in late with that tackle. It was just a brilliant tackle.
And you could see it, couldn't you? Was that
he's got good burst speed.
Everyone on the ground.
I don't know where he gets it from because his old man was definitely a plotter.
Besides Lewis Archer, everyone on the ground, everyone at home, everyone in the universe knew Lewis Archer was about to be tackled, besides Lewis Archer.
Yeah, maybe the phrase, you're hot.
Yeah, you're hot, mate. Maybe they got misconstrued. McShane into the pocket. He's got knocked down. It's going to be a free kick here. So Scotch downfield free kick. There's been a plethora of them.
There's been a lot of those in this match.
I've just never seen so many in my life in one game of football.
There hasn't been much malice.
And you know what? They haven't been spiteful, but I reckon they've all been there. Once again, it's close. It's 50-50. In fact, it might be a free kick. No, this is good for the umpire. It's actually a free kick for a high tackle as he kicked it. So therefore, it can't be downfield. It has to be from the spot. The infringement occurred. McShane for Scotch to a massive pack, climbing up high with Zach Morris. Goes in again. Snap out of the pack by G. Gee couldn't get it away. Clearing kick. That probably could have been holding the football. The umpire delayed with his whistle.
Yeah, didn't have the ball.
And a free kick here.
Right.
Could have gone either way then. Kicking up to centre half. Several players climbed up high, weren't able to win the football.
There's Harrison with that speed over 5 metres.
Yeah, he does. I actually think he's got a bit quicker and more confidence as the game has gone on. Good contest there. Neither player giving away the free kick on the ground was Jack Tilley.
I should say I actually have never seen Ben Harrison run, so I'm just assuming that he was not so fast over 5 metres.
Well, maybe Ben's
just
maybe Ben just. He does a lot of work, does he, Ben? He's a busy man.
He is. Got a new job too.
Where's he working now?
Probably can't say.
No, we can't say. Not on live stream of television. Chance for Hutchins. Tight in the pocket. Oh, wow. Could that be the game breaker? Amongst a huge pack of players we see on the replay. That is an exceptional goal. It floated and floated. I didn't think it was going to get the distance, and you can see Drury in the goal square. He was pumped. And Hutchins get the early goal here in this last 25 minutes of football in this big clash. We'll just get the number of that player. I actually missed that on the side. Duff, did you?
I didn't see it. Actually, it happened so quickly, didn't it? Great kick out to the pack, though.
Just on the replay here again. It's a bit further back from the replay, is it? It's certainly a wonderful, wonderful goal. And those sort of things inspire your team. So it's back over 4 goals, the difference again. Chipped off there by Sam Gray by Scotch. Hutchins with the numbers. And once they feel the momentum swing back to them, it might be hard for Scotch to get back into this game. Sam Gray lopes away. Unfortunately for Sam Gray, the man who just kicked the goal then just lays a tackle. So he's doing everything at the moment.
Oh, they called him Gene Fair, Zachy Fair. Like I said, it's kept at it all day.
Yeah, good defensive punch there by G. Now Evans finds a bit of space in front of himself. Cooper, snapshot. Didn't get a lot onto it. Oh, I'll tell you what, over the back. It's Max Dennehy with another opportunist goal, his 3rd. And Hutchins may have just found that winning margin.
You would have to think that's going to break the back of the Scotch boys.
Heartbreaking for Scotch. There's on the replay, Mac Evans through the middle. And poor checking. And Denny, look at this ball bounce. I wonder if he read that better, or he just knew it was coming over the back, or he just took a punt then. And Julian Dennehy with 3 goals apiece in that forward 50 for Hutchins have numerically got an advantage. 35 points the difference, 60 to 95. 7.5 gone here in the last quarter. And maybe the sun's setting on the first game here of the season, although they have got some points from a forfeit. Let's hope GYC get their players back in vogue and the people there at GYC, because they had to forfeit that first game. We don't like seeing that in any form of football. Bremner, I should say. Mud on the back of some of the players here, but there's only a little bit of mud on the ground here at Scotch Oakburn Park. It's an immaculate condition. A little bit of rain up north in the last few days.
Well, the floods went through here, obviously,
a couple of years ago.
And, as a result, they had to redo the ground completely. This is a nice move by Scotch.
Yeah, just the kick being let down on that occasion. That was McShane.
But no, it's in ripper condition, isn't it? There hasn't been a lot of rain in Tassie, though, so far this winter.
Yeah, there was 85 mil. on the coast of the West Coast 2 days ago, or 24 hours ago. 85 mil.
Wow.
At Mount Reeve, maybe.
Didn't make it over here.
There was 5 mil in Lonnie and about 4 mil. I think a 4 mil on Friday in Hobart. It didn't rain much. But yeah, 85 mil. But
Thanks
certainly,
for those statistics there.
I've got all sorts of weird stats for you, Martin.
Yeah.
I've got an even weirder one for a minute.
Have you?
I'm going to give it to you anyway.
Yep.
There's been no Beryl, and I apologise for this, I'm really diverted. There's been no one called Beryl in Australia, named Beryl, at their birth for over a decade.
What?
No, Beryl. No one called Beryl. I did a quiz the other day and I was trying to research, and there's been only 2 Waynes, and Wayne was the most popular name in Australia in 1969. There's no Waynes here. There's Ned, there's Axel, there's Lockie. None of those kids being born in the 60s would call that. A quick kick on goal here by Liam Canny.
What about Jerry? We'll get back to the
Jared, yeah, not many Jareds. Now it's going to be a throw here, a handball. He manages a handball deep in the fence here. Certainly, I don't think there was many Axels before the 80s. Nice chip kick. Finds Ludus. You can see that slap in the ball into the hands of Thomas Reeves.
What about Terry?
I'd say, don't reckon there's a lot of Terrys. These are ABS stats for Bursa players. Zachy Fair. And a nice kick as he finds Neo Butler.
They're up and about again, Hutchins here.
We had a player in the pocket that he'd gone to, and he's decided to go short, just get in the hands of Cooper, although he did end up spilling that kick. Cooper kicks to the genuine hot spot, and another Hutchins mark.
Big Tilly, is it?
What a see it is, Jack Tilly. He's got
that hair.
He's got a good boost, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He's going back here, Tilly. He's already kicked a couple of goals and an opportunity to kick his third. I think it'll be his first goal for a couple of quarters here.
He's a strong boy, isn't he?
You know what, Martin? You keep your eyes on the football and you're confident and you're aggressive. You pull down those marks.
Yeah.
And he's kicking from 35 metres out right behind your camera. And his kick is a little wobbly, but it's straight. And Jack Tilly has 3. And Hutchins a run away here.
He's had a good game, hasn't he?
Yeah, and he moved back for a little while too. Tilly, and he ran off half back and got quite a lot of loose balls. But he's just showing a little bit of class by getting a contested mark, partly going against the flow. He wasn't running at the football, he's running back, and you're always not sure if you're going to get a body whack into you. And he didn't worry about that. He kept his eyes on the football and took a very confident mark in his 41 points. Well, we mentioned, Martin, now this has been the best game of footy we've covered on Duff TV for a long time.
Yeah.
Best sporting contest we've seen for a while.
We watch a lot of terrible games on TV.
Well, we see a
won't go
few.
there.
Well, that's the AFL. We don't worry about that. We're all about local footy, either juniors or female or
grassroots
school footy. Yep.
Just love grassroots.
Where the next stars are, or the next great butcher of the town, or the next architect of the town, but also is playing a bit of footy. Storming out is Mac Evans. His disposal wasn't overly clear. Trying to run onto that one is Thomas Reeves.
Jeez, he's been good, hasn't he?
Incredible. Best player on the ground at the moment. George McShane for Hutchins, and they're falling over here, Scotch, and on his knees was Willie O'Toole. He needed to be standing up. And Joey Harrison, I reckon he deserves a goal. Martin Duffy.
He does. He's worked hard, and
he's improved as the game's gone on.
One of the smaller players on the field, but in and under all day, this boy.
Does he remind you of his sister?
Yes, young Meg. My word, what a
North Hobart cricketer and a Kingborough footballer.
What a gifted sports lady she is.
And I reckon Harrison has just missed. Unfortunate for him, and there's our favourite umpire on the ground, that man there. We'll try and maybe we need to interview him. He may not say anything at the end of the game. He's been that casual. Big climb and defensive punch, gone over the boundary line.
Now on this old scoreboard,
it's great, isn't it?
We see the electronic scoreboards, but look at these two here working hard together. They're not pressing buttons; they're working it out.
They're trying to count at the moment.
I mean, if they were pressing buttons, it just wouldn't be the same.
It's a lovely ground, and
keep the old scoreboard.
Yeah, it's a beautiful scoreboard. Liam Canny for Scotch. There's 1 on 3 here. The numerical numbers advantage then was to Hutchins, and they do win it. It's kicked to the centre of the ground. Now there's a little push off the side here, and the umpire's found a free kick. Now McShane will have to be careful here. That's Tom McShane, because he laid a tackle and got a bit physical, and we can hear some excitement here. in the end. But anyway, it's back into the hands of Liam Kenny. Gets the handball off to Lewis. Lewis just had enough time. He's got to play it further afield with some space. Bremner on to Gibson. Gibson's tackle after the Bremner handball wasn't enough. And some frustration being shown here by Scotch Oakburn.
We've got the seconds team for Hutchins on the
well, they've moved around to the right there. There they are. They started on the left of the commentary position. Now they moved around to the right. I think we heard now somehow there's a free kick here. Sam Gray, I think, has got it. Didn't quite see that one. But the umpire's been so good with it, so I'll make the assumption that was correct. Now, there was a lead, I thought, to the middle, and I don't reckon that was the right spot to kick to that pocket. Needed to kick towards the middle of the ground because there was a little bit of real estate in the middle of the two forwards, around 30 metres out. But in the end, he got no lead, so therefore he couldn't kick it there. A bit stagnant, out of bounds. So nearly 15 gone. It will be a Hutchins win, and potentially, although different season, different players, potentially, they'll feel much better about things in the land of Hutchins from last year's grand final loss to Scotch. But tell you what, these two teams, I'd imagine Martin Duffy, we might be seeing them in a grand final. Certainly, these two teams will be playing it right to the death of this SATIS football season.
Yes. That third quarter, though, by Scotch, when they kicked about 4 goals out of 5, just showed the class that they've got. So if they can bring that for 4 quarters, they could be hard to beat again.
Oh, I think they've got some individual players, and for me, it was just this from Hutchins. I know he's given away a free kick on this occasion, Thomas Rees, and he's a little unlucky. I know the actual umpire said ball up, so not a bad one. But his effort around the footy, along with some of the Hutchins, has been a bit tougher around the ball. More willing to the contest. Thomas Reeves again just goes past him. Wow. Ben Farrell.
Great awareness under pressure, Hutchins. They've done it well all day.
And that's a clever mark by Cox, although not paid, didn't go far enough. Gets a kick away. Tighten the pocket here. Hutchins with some numbers. One of those players with the ball is Ned Spiden. Always around the contest, often just at the back of the pack. Harry Lewis for Scotch, applying some pressure. And boundary line has found the footy on the wrong side, which means that young lad there will throw it back in to restart play. Just on the defensive 50 here for Hutchins.
I think they're closer than 40 points.
No, this is a couple of goal game in visually, but Hutchins slightly more efficient. And I think their decision making was a little bit better for a lot of the day. Only a little bit better because at times Scotch looked so impressive. But the one thing that I think has been different is the intensity at the ball from Thomas Rees in particular, Spiden as well. There's been a range of players. The intensity at the football and to be able to win it, release a handball to a player in a better position has been probably allowed Hutchins to have more scoring opportunities. But it's been a fabulous game of football. And thanks to both schools for allowing Duff TV to cover it. And we hope we get another opportunity because there's a tackle late and we're going to get a free kick here.
Yeah, no, we've got some games booked in. We're looking forward to a few more live streams and then hopefully a great final series. And it's great that the schools get behind us for what we do, and we just love it.
A tired Tom McShane, kicks poor, but still an opportunity for Scotch. Roving the pack and they get a goal.
Great goal.
I think it was Davies. And a nice snap off the pack, but not a lot of support there from his teammates. And they hopefully can finish off this game. 66 to 102. The commanding lead, as we see here on the Mood Food replay. McShane's kick, a little wobbly inside the forward 50. And Alex Davies just the back. In fact, it wasn't Alex Davies in the end. Zachy Morris, was it?
Who's that in the middle of the screen? That's Ben Harrison, I think, isn't it? Don't they call him Bolts? Maybe
might be Harry Lewis.
Maybe he was a fast runner.
Just a fortunate name. Harry Lewis. Apologies there to the Lewis clan. That was him. It was a nice snap. He's had a few good touches, Harry Lewis. 17.5, 17 3/4 now gone. Cooper, so often one of those players providing pressure on the opposition, but also winning lots of the ball. Zeman. Cooper gets to another contest. Hutchins. Might not be for them for too long as Scotch with the numbers here. Harry Lewis, the man who kicked a goal, lays a tackle. He lays that tackle on Mac Evans. Mac Evans holding the football.
Gee, they've been good, these umpires.
Fabulous.
Absolutely spot on.
Good kick, because it opens up for Charlie Zeman. Zeman will have to kick the football quickly. He does. It's 1-on-2. Hutchins with the numbers here. Great contest as both teams are trying their best and putting in some energy. Unfortunately, that's what we've seen. That is their little narrative, I think, of Scotch at times just busting the ball out instead of being more precise with their kicking. A lot of bumps and another player down holding his lower leg. It might even be cramp.
I think it is.
And it's Ned Spiden. He's done a lot of, he would have had a lot of Ks. There's a little hold off here. A little hold, I think. Does Axel Moore have a free kick? Axel Moore, I should say, given away a free kick.
It's been quiet, Axel.
Yeah, Axel's been quiet. He has a little bit quiet. He's not a bad defensive player. It's Zach Morris, but there was a tiny hold on the jumper. And it was just before this, Jero, but a good decision for the umpire, because I certainly saw that one here on the camera. As Zach Morris will have an opportunity to kick 2 in a row here for Scotch. He's definitely within range, Zach Morris. He has 3 goals. And for him to kick 4 on the day, no player's got to 4 yet. Right on 50. Scooted off to the left. It's still in play. Big climb. Nearly marked down by McShane. McShane in the pocket misses.
Great build up there in the commentary. Got me excited. Loved your work today, Aaron. You must have got an early night last night.
Well, I had a big week away. I've been away for work for the last fortnight, and I slept about 11 hours last night. My lovely partner had a meal cooked for me when I got home yesterday, and yeah, I've been actually, when we finally got the tick of approval from Scotch and Hutchins to call this game, I have missed out on all the other SATIS football games, and I've been really keen. Tubes has been the man doing them, and it's up here in the north today. So, and I've loved every moment. I've loved the style of football. I've seen, I think we've unearthed some footballers here. I'm sure clubs have seen it, but for me, first seeing them play school footy, I've enjoyed chatting to a few of the people around here. The ground is magnificent. It's a wonderful setting. And there's been so much passion here. And Martin, I reckon that passion's come into the commentary position. It's been coming into your camera work, into Jero's work here in the pots and pans.
And into the living rooms of all the people watching this on their smart TVs.
And a few Hutchins people that are going down through the Midlands as well, listening on their phones. It's kick on goal. That's magnificent. Not a bad icing on the cake. And smiles in their faces.
Who we got? It's not Tilly, is it?
I think it is Jack Tilly. He's got the lovely boosh as we see the replay here. 45. Wonderful kick on goal. Had no trouble making the distance. He's kicked that easily 50 metres. And that is 4 for Jack Tilly.
Oh, as I said before, he's a dour defender in the soccer. But he's an absolute ace up front in the Aussie rules. Can do it all.
It technically looks really good, doesn't he? I mean, his kicking style is good. He seems to be running in the right spots to get the ball. His hands are good. He's able to work his body and just make those small contacts to jump at the ball. And then we see the inside 50s. It's been Scotch in this second half in inside 50 stuff, hasn't it? They've really dominated it, but they haven't been able.
There, have you?
We just saw them come up on the screen. 11-7 in this quarter for Scotch. They haven't been able to score. 21-22 ticked over.
Of course, those stats brought to you by All Aerobics.
Prelude, no pressure there to Terry.
Gee, that's got to be worth a gym membership, surely.
For who?
Me. Best gym in Tasmania, don't you worry about that.
Kicks out, nearly out, not quite. Into the hands of Birchmore, liked his game. Harry Bales has competed hard for Scotch. And it's just knocked away from Tom McShane. And there's a player down. It's Harry Bales is down here. I'll tell you what, this boy's tough.
He is.
I've seen him get whacked a couple of times. He'll get back up here again.
Do you think Lewis Drury's gone, you okay, mate?
Don't think so.
I doubt it.
I don't. Lewis has been a prime mover. And it was, you know what, that's actually, they don't like that these days. Players going in and really taking the hips out of the opposition. McShane probably needed to kick then, decided to handball. Hutchins, the kick is being chipped off by Bales. He'll play on. He's on off half back here for Scotch. He's going to kick it up to try and find the hands of Lewis. Lewis takes a brilliant mark. He wants the mark. Not paid. And he's dragged to the ground. Well, maybe it was paid because the umpire signalled. that way, and I think that was deserved. He was the man that wanted the football, and he got it. Kicks it inside forward 50. Capital players, and Alex Davies is one of those coming out. Bales has come forward here, and he's just held off the ball. So he's given away a free. Has he given away a free? No, he's actually won a free kick.
Correct disposal.
Well, he kicked a goal here in the second quarter, and he's got a second opportunity with about a minute and a half left. The Sting, you know what, Duff? The Sting has not gone out of this game at any stage.
It has not.
There's pride on the line, and there's a season in front of these players for the independent schools' best team. Bales from 45. Geez, he makes good contact on that one. That's a goal to Harry Bales. And he would be happy with his game today. Mostly off half back. He's kicked 2 for that spot on the ground. I reckon nearly exactly a good spot.
It's been some excellent field kicking and excellent kicks on goals from right on the range.
So Harry Bales, he kicks a second. And Bayless has been an example, I suppose, of the spirit today.
Yeah.
You could probably say his kicking style and some things he does is technically a little bit of work, but very effective. And the contact on the footy there with that kick. And Bayless was wonderful. Back in the middle. Joey Harris is on the ball. Bayless again. Just kicks it in to a lot of space at half forward. Coming out to meet it with several Scotch players handballed over the top. And it's one out by Joey Harrison. Kick is wonderful. And there's a siren. And it's marked on the siren by Zach Fair. He's 50 out. He'll have a shot on goal. It's 73 to 108. It is a Hutchins win. And they've got to win away from home here at Scotch Oakburn Park. And Fair with an opportunity to extend this lead. We'll just watch this and we'll have a quick wrap up. He's going the top. It's an interesting style of holding it. And he's kicked a wobbly one. We saw the kick. That's gone through for a goal. That's interesting. That's a goal. And the most casual individual on the ground will have to signal with 2 fingers to indicate a goal. Zach Fair gets his first after the siren.
Great kick. Zachy's best kick ever.
What a technical genius Zach Fair is to kick that wobbly, wibbly wobbler. Bounces past everyone and no one stuck their hand out to stop it. Well, certainly no one from Scotch Oakburn. So the players shake hands here. It's a commanding victory for the Hutchins boys. Have come up the Midlands. They've won the game. Maybe a little bit of revenge for Blighty and the team from last year's loss in the grand final. But certainly we'll see Scotch back again.
Who's your 3 2-1s there? I'll tell you what.
I'm actually going to be controversial here.
I reckon it's a tough one. I'd put Tilly in there, without doubt.
We'll just see the goal kickers on screen. So Tilly with 4, Dennehy with 3, Jury with 3, and Morris with 3.
Jury was effective. You wouldn't say he had a lot of possession.
When he got it, though, he was good, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I thought Will Cooper was nearly the most influential footballer on the ground for Hutchins. The best player on the ground actually was Tom McShane for Scotch Oakburn. But if you're going to award votes, because Hutchins were able to win the game and therefore that was more influenced by, I think Will Cooper was the best player on the ground with 3 for me. Tom McShane, he is a class player. Just a couple of small kicks in that last quarter where he looked a little tired. And maybe Jack Tilley comes in with a vote. 4 goals in a game of footy. These days, Martin Duffy is quite an achievement. But there was a plethora of good players. We just might mention a couple before we wrap it up here on Duff TV because we need to pack it up and get you on the road, Martin Duffy. But Mac Evans had a really good game for Hutchins. We mentioned Will Cooper. I mean, there are a stack of players. Thomas Reeves had a brilliant last quarter, kicked that phenomenal goal in the pack from the right forward pocketers. Andrew McLean and Cameron Blight having a bit of a conversation there. Nice to see them. Zach Fair, Ned Spiden also played well. Joe Harrison in the second half came into his own and had quite a considerable contribution. And Max Dennehy, I mean, 3 goals to him. I mean, that's also a contribution. Now, for Scotch, plenty of good players for them. Nathan Cox up forward on a couple of occasions, looked dangerous. Harry Lewis kicked a couple. I thought he was really good. Harry Bayliss had a good last 3 quarters. Played off half-back, but still kicked a couple of goals. Zach Morris was their best forward all day. He looked like he could have kicked 5 or 6. Tom McShane was their best player. William Birchmore, I thought, was a brute at different stages through the middle of the ground. Ben Spinks had about a 20-minute patch where he dragged Scotch Oakburn back into this contest, but was unable to get it going. But a wonderful game of football, and in the end, Hutchins 18-6, 114 to Scotch Oakburn College, 11-7, 73. As the players exit the ground, and what's been a wonderful day of football, and thanks to both the colleges for allowing us to come and support it. Now sponsors Jackson Motor Company and Bennis Petroleum and Mood Food. Thanks to you, Martin Duffy.
Thank you very much, Aaron. Great call, mate, doing it solo all day. Top effort.
My pleasure. Thanks to Jared Martindale, G-Funk on the pots and pans, did a great job. And check out Duff TV for all the fans here in the north. You might see us again here in the north covering some football. If you want to have your team live on air with either my Dose of Tones or Tubes Taylor or maybe Hoppy, get in contact with Duff TV. We're on YouTube. Tubes, we love Tubes. He'll be back soon, and we'll get the van along. We'll support your team, whoever it might be. We even do under 8s, whatever sport, whatever you want. Get in contact with Martin Duffy at Duff TV. It's been a pleasure, and good afternoon to you out there. Here from Aaron Roberts. These players experienced at good standard of football and a nice rivalry between the 2 best footballing colleges in Tasmania. And there is the first goal on the ball. The Scotch get the first. The most enjoyable time of playing football. And there was a lot of cheering on before these teams came on. But here's an opportunity for Hutchins. It just goes and left. And maybe tackle laid then and Jury. And that, it's gone through. Well, it's fortuitous in the end. But that's all you need, because they got the ball further forward. It quickly moves the ball on to a one-on-one contest. Slipping over at the wrong moment was Drury. Still an opportunity. Drury's going to get back again, but was there a high tackle? Maybe play on.
Surely a throw there.
We'll just see here on the replay.
The umpire's given it.
Well, was the high tackle? Yeah. So the high tackle was first, Martin Duffy, and then the throw occurred. So that means it has to be a goal. So great umpire. And the shot on goal is going to be taken by Sam Gray. Nice looking kicking action from Sam Gray. And he is dobbed one for the Scotchies. And competition at the moment, the AFL, the boys AFL and the girls AFL. And a good mark taken as Jack Tilley was able to read the kick. Not a bad contest. Popped out the side was Prescott. It should be another goal. If this can be picked up by Cooper, and Cooper kicks it.
Oh, forget the play and how good the game's going. This goal umpire down here is... He's missed
Scotch are winning the middle of the ground, although that's the first real victory for Hutchins. It gets out to centre half. Storming out again is Tilley. Tight left foot, wasn't a lot of space. It still might go. Rolling. I think he got a feeling for a second. I thought Max Stenchy put his hand on finger on it, but he didn't. Yep, and I did a game on Tuesday in Mount Nelson, and I'm all over the place. As a high kick goes up, and a fantastic mark.
Put that one down.
Again by Jack Tilley.
Gee, he's on fire.
He's 20 metres out. He's got a very confident run up, and he kicks the 6th goal here. 6 goals won, 37, Scotch 2-2-14. And it's been 7 minutes of complete dominance. Goes out to the riverside of the ground. A wonderful contested mark. Goes to his knees and tries to help one of his teammates in Caleb Thompson. Now there's a tackle without the football. I'd imagine we might have a little push and shove. No, they've kept their emotions in check. To give them a bit of a pump up here on Duff TV because they're integral to the game. That's a good kick into the pocket. Oh, it's cutting it off. I didn't think he was going to get to that Ned Spider, and I seen him as a junior, I think, a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
I don't think he's got the distance. I've certainly heard the umpires whistle a lot, but I can't say there's been any stinkers so far. That's a brilliant mark. The only skill that's letting these players down, I think generally the decision-making is really good, and Tom McShane needs to kick this goal.
Nice approach.
That's nice from Zach Morris, and Scotch had the response early, exactly what this game needed, exactly what Scotch Oakburn College required. And that's allowed Scotch to go forward. Now, another example of a contested mark. It's more... The sun's a little low in the sky. It's only not at 1:30 when the game started. That's a nice
lead.
Tell you what,
He's
Jack.
a good AFL
He's not. I don't think he's. We don't think he's playing senior footy. I might be wrong. If someone could text us or tweet us or whatever you need to do. Over the head. That's high in the sky. I think that's a goal. That is sensational. Well, out of nowhere, it's Lewis Drury again. Had the free kick on half-back. The plan advantage didn't work for them. 50-50 free kick went against them. Mac Evans kick on goal. It looks very good. It's excellent. It's another one. So,
But in general play, they look, fairly even in ability.
Evans from 45. Oh, that looks good again. Mac Evans has 2 in the quarter, and his kicking skills are elite.
The 2 best teams that are going to feature in this competition this year, but the standard's very high, isn't it?
Oh, the standard's exceptional. Bales, the one-handed drop, and a 6-pointer. So a desperately needed goal for Scott. That's a good-looking kick. Just touched on the... No, it's a goal.
Jeez, he didn't hesitate, did he?
The Hutchins players are claiming that was clearly touched, but that makes a game of it, Martin Duffy.
The umpires.
Now, I think the umpire's going to just fix this one up. He's going, no, he's gone, it's a goal. We are laughing slightly, but it is serious. The players are taking it seriously. I'm sure that goal umpire's taking it seriously. and Hutchins can try and keep this ball in. Over the back, nearly marked. Picked up by Fair. Fair, tight in the pocket. It's punched across the face of goal. Into the pocket. Good here. Nearly into the hands of Ives. Oh, it's going to probably be an easy goal again. And Tilly gets the first for Hutchins, and some sloppy football from Scotch as they're unable to get the ball deep out of defence. The turnover occurred. Some poor decision-making. Coming in, picking up off his ankles is Will Cooper. He's tackled. Good tackle by him. Scotch get it back, and they go into their forward 50 to around 35 metres out. Nearly a mark taken by Davies, and it's going to be given to Zach Morris.
I like this.
Lewis. Well, they're coming from everywhere, and Hutchins need to stop this at the moment. That is a brilliant mark, going high up with his left hand and dragging it down. Finds Davies. Davies always likes to kick long. To a one-on-one contest at the back of the pack. Nearly marked, should be kicked up the ground. It is! Scotch have another. And a clap from the goal umpire. I think we know who he's supporting. And a tight pocket kick. In fact, it's not Will Cooper, it's Neo Butler. I haven't seen much of Butler today. He plays Development League for North Hobart. And he just shows a bit of class there with a very laconic check side kick. Outstanding today. They have not missed a beat, and the players need to react to that. Cox. Goal. Only a youngster. Well, they're all youngsters, I suppose. Spied it again. Bullocking. Just needs to improve his kicking. Oh, look, it's popped out the back here. It should be a goal to Hutchins, and it is a goal. The Max Dempsey kicks his second. And we've got a blockbuster here in the eastern suburbs of Launceston.
Shootout, well, Hutchins today. Slow trip.
Yeah, well, look.
Oh, the completed version is going to be wonderful for Tasmania.
Oh, look, I've done that trip about 30 times, and someone doing a trip is that man, left foot, and Hutchins get a couple in a row.
Oh, that's just a great goal, isn't it?
Thomas Reeves there with a snap, and probably a goal against the flow. They've kicked
the bigger fella there.
Yeah, he certainly had. That's a great tackle from behind. I reckon he slipped and he took the legs out of the opponent. And Theo Ives in defence for Scotch. Great kick from Ives. Finds Tom McShane. Tell you what, I reckon he's tired. Got a few bruises on him too because he's a lot of the football. He's going to kick it fast. Came from behind. Where's he working now?
Probably can't say.
No, we can't say. Not on live stream of television. Chance for Hutchins. Tight in the pocket. Oh, wow. Could that be the game breaker? Finds a bit of space in front of himself. Cooper, snapshot. Didn't get a lot onto it. Oh, I'll tell you what, over the back. It's Max Dennehy with another opportunist goal, his third. And Hutchins may have just found that winning margin. To go short, just getting the hands of Cooper, although he did end up spilling that kick. Cooper kicks to the hot the genuine hot spot, and another Hutchins mark.
Big Tilly, is it?
You know what, Martin? You keep your eyes on the football and you're confident and you're aggressive.
Yeah.
You pull down those marks.
Yeah.
And he's kicking from 35 metres out right behind your camera. And his kick is a little wobbly, but it's straight. And Jack Tilley has 3. And Hutchins have run away here.
He's had a good game, hasn't he? For what we do, and we just love it.
A tired Tom McShane kicks poor, but still an opportunity for Scotch. Roving the pack, and they get a goal.
Great goal.
I think it was Davies. And a nice snap off the pack, but not a lot of support there from his teammates. And they within range, Zach Morris. He has 3 goals. And for him to kick 4 in the day, no players got to 4 yet. Right on 50. Scooted off to the left. It's still in play. Big Clyde. Nearly marked down by McShane. McShane in the pocket misses.
Great build up there in the commentary. Got me excited. They're smart TVs.
And a few Hutchins people that are going down through the Midlands as well, listening on their phones. It's kick on goal. That's magnificent. Not a bad icing on the cake. And smiles in their faces.
Who we got? It's not Tilly.
And there's a season in front of these players for the independent schools best team. Bales from 45. Geez, he makes good contact on that one. That's a goal to Harry Bales.